The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on this show are not to be presented as facts or an indicting nature to any party, viewing, or mention. We hope you're entertained. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
We hope you entertained.
All right. We back with another episode. What's the word? It's episode 51.
Yeah.
I'm here with a very special guest in the building, Miss Ashley M. Munson. How you doing? Let's give her a round of applause for Ashley M. Munson.
Ashley Munson.
Hey, y'all, you said Ashley M. Munson. That's crazy. I mean, that is my name, but
That's what I've been seeing on everything. So I've been had to put the M right there. You know, today with Munson. Oh, see, I did that.
yeah, that was good. That was good.
Today we got Munson today. You know what I'm saying? So Ashley, you've done a lot of work, collab with us a lot in the past. You know, you're a great content curator out there. And then for those who don't know, like politics and just that's like your forte, right? It's a little plug. Tomorrow you got Brandon Johnson on the show tomorrow, right?
I do.
All right, so tell us a little bit about Today with Munson. Like, how did that come about, and what's the goal for it?
For sure. Let me start by saying thank you guys for letting me be here today. The next 2 weeks are crazy. As you can imagine, election stuff is happening, coupled with a full-time job. I'm a lobbyist by trade, so politics is both what I talk about and what I do, which makes the platform of Today with Munson or Munson Tonight palatable and also creditable, because I do this in real life, essentially. And so the show started maybe like 10 years ago. I was on YouTube trying to figure out how do I explain my world to people that look like me, because the government wasn't created for us to understand in the first place. So how do I explain to black and brown folks, like, this is why it's important to vote, this is what a vote is, this is what a veto is, and stuff like that. But due to some of the jobs I've had in the past, I had to stop, restart, because I had to be careful about what I said. Fast forward, 2021, I started doing live shows where I talked about what politics is, some of the issues happening nationally, and then went from doing live shows, and then pitching them to Can TV, which is a local TV station here in Chicago. And now I'm on my season finale of the first season of Munson Tonight tomorrow. So
That part.
we got y'all's mayor Brandon Johnson coming out tomorrow. He's my mayor
Y'all's
too.
mayor is crazy.
But you know, black folks gotta add a little spice to everything. So y'all mayor is coming out tomorrow, and then Commissioner Bill Lowry from the South Side of Chicago is coming out. So it's gonna be a good time. I also should say I have the luxury of not grilling him tomorrow. I know folks have a lot of questions for the mayor, but because the show is a mixture of like the Tonight Show and like a little lighter element and more fundamentally like what is a mayor? I guarantee you if you talk to some people, they'll be like, he runs the city, but okay, what does he do? So it's really to break down his role and what are his goals for the next 2 years.
Okay.
Is the show live?
Yeah, so it's
Like-
on Can TV, Channel 19. It is on cantv.org. It's streaming on Roku. I want to say Apple TV, but it's online, or if you have cable.
I mean, like, do you have a live audience? That's what I meant to say.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So can we come?
Yes, I got to see if that list is full, because
Okay.
the studio does the list. But yeah, if I'm pretty sure I can make that happen. I got to check the list.
I would love to come. Yeah.
Let it go.
Don't start today.
Yeah.
Don't start today. I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, you already started with me. It ain't gonna lie. It's crazy. We even sitting on this couch together right now.
That is crazy. Anyways,
What?
thanks for coming
Always.
and
Nah.
talking to us a
We
week
gotta get
before.
your friend beef.
No, we don't got time for that. She has to leave at 2:00. We can talk about ours later.
Talk about our friend
Have
beef.
y'all ever heard of friend therapy? No,
What you mean?
like therapy for your friends.
Like together?
Yeah, like couples therapy with like friend
I think
therapy.
that would be lit, but no, I haven't. I think black folks out of all groups of people should do it for sure.
Yes, friend therapy for sure. Keep that in mind. Put that on the calendar.
Yeah, we gotta have friend
Well,
therapy.
back to you.
You booking your appointment?
Yes,
The
I
two of y'all?
am for sure. It's getting.
Y'all gotta
ridiculous.
record that though. Like record
We
the
should.
first half of it with the licensed therapist. That'd be great. That'd be good.
We gonna set that up for sure. But the presidential election is a week. Is it a week?
It's
away?
less than a week.
Less than a week.
Next
6
time we
days.
back,
6
the
days.
next time we back on,
It'll be the day after.
Oh.
Hopefully, we'll have an answer by then.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what our guest next week? Who I gonna be? Supposed to be J. Maul Green.
And we moving on.
No shade.
What you say, y'all, J-Mal?
My process is he is very. I appreciate people in their difference of opinions, and I think he's been one that's very critical of what's happening. So that should be a really interesting show. And I think like we'll probably have an answer by Thursday, Friday, but I really feel like it's gonna be crazy either way. So it's gonna be a lot of like recount votes. Y'all see they're burning
burning
ballots.
ballots.
Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be nuts either way. But that should be a really interesting show.
I like how you said that he has opinions on like what's going on, right? So right now it's been a lot of opinions on. I'm gonna just start with Kamala, right? Did I say it right?
No.
I can't. I'll be
Sound
fucking.
like Trump.
I fuck up this lady name. I'll be so
At least
sorry.
you're trying to fix it.
Yeah, there we go.
Miss Harris. No, it's Vice
Some
President Harris. I ain't
There
gonna
we
fuck
go.
up her
There
shit.
we go.
But Vice President Harris has been a lot of different opinions on her as far as her locking up black men, as far as with the marijuana thing. Her, I guess her ethnicity and her racism has been coming to question a lot. What did she do as vice president? How can she promise us as president? She didn't do anything as vice president. So as a person that works in like you're a lobbyist, so you work in politics. These are conversations you have with people all the time. And then you said that you wanted to use your platform for people like us that look like us to understand politics. Yeah. Like, what would be some things that's some rhetoric or some things that's out there that's pertaining towards her that's like the opinions and people that's been putting them false narratives down that you would want to like address first, like to let people know that's not true?
That's a long list. Where I start with people, though, in general conversations about Kamala is, one, that both parties have to do a better job of getting the votes of black and brown people.
Okay.
Now we're at a time where you can see the difference between both parties if you're a black or brown person. But the Democratic Party has historically taken advantage of black people are just going to vote for them, right? So I usually start there. Like, I feel you. I understand. We have to work to hold the Democratic Party accountable. And knowing that just because there are a lot of black and brown folks in office, like, they're not necessarily for us, even though they look like us. So I start with trying to help them understand, like, just because I'm in this world, like, it's a lot that I understand. From that, I think to your point about the narratives, I mean, we can talk about Kamala and how she hasn't done everything perfect. But on the flip side, like when she had her stint in California, she did a lot of progressive things. She opened up, I can't remember the name of the office verbatim, but just to look into some of the convictions that were happening to make sure that folks are being tried justifiably. And then looking at step 3 would be look at Trump's platform. What has he done for black people? Don't tell me stimulus checks because that's been debunked. To your point earlier about like, I know we'll talk about it in a bit, but like addressing the black audience, I think her campaign team is just now getting to that point. Like, hey, this isn't true, y'all. But like the stimulus checks were for Congress. He tried to hold them up so he can sign them. I think if we look at like pre-Trump being a Republican, he was hanging out with the Clintons. He agreed with some of the Democratic platforms, and like he wouldn't rent to black people. Following that, if we don't want to go to the past, let's go to the future. Look at Agenda 47. Google it. It's Trump talking about his agenda. Okay, fine. You don't want to talk about Project 2025 because you think that we're dumb enough to know that you're not associated with it. But let's go to your platform and your page that talks about bringing back stop and frisk, limiting civil rights, like stuff that affects us every day, that affects people that are our brothers, cousins, sisters. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that was a long way, a long route to say, I think people have real concerns. But I think when we have somebody as Trump against a Kamala, like, I think it's the writing on the wall. Now, if this was Kamala against Jeb Bush, you know, I may have some different thoughts because I tend to lean more, I'm moderate, but I have some conservative views in some instances. So I get it. I just think we have to look at the writing on the wall and what the real harm that Trump brings to our communities.
So why do you feel like a lot of black and brown people are standing up and being so loud when it comes to like Trump and voting for Trump?
I have a few thoughts there. I think Trump said it in one of his speeches that, you know, low information voters are his favorite because we're not, you know, folks aren't able to get the real time information. Like, I think, was that President Barack Obama that went, I forget what interview it just was, but he was at a rally and he was talking about like the stimulus checks. I was on Twitter or I was on TikTok, and people were saying like they did not know that Trump wasn't responsible for the stimulus checks. Right. And it's like, if you're in this world a little bit, like, like that really wasn't it. But some people don't have access to this information. Now, is it their fault? Possibly. But also, you got real people having real life issues going on, so they're not able to tune in and to know all the facts. So I think in part it's misinformation. But on the other hand, we got to work better as politicians, as political folks, to get the information out there and have conversations. I think a lot of people don't have hard conversations. To your point about Jamal Green, I disagree with most of the things he says, but I would be willing to have a conversation with him. I don't think less of him because he has these opinions that may be outrageous to some people. He can think some of the things I'm saying is like faulty or whatever, but my point is we need to have more hard conversations so the real facts and the information can be on the table.
So when it comes to having those conversations, like how do you think, even just us as everyday human beings, like how do we better those conversations? Because a lot of times when it comes to voting for a president, it's really just like, I'm throwing you what I know and you throwing me what you know about our opposing candidates. It's never like I'm listening to you to really understand and retain the information so that I can compare and contrast whether this is a good vote for me.
That's a good question. I would say at base, facts. Because you can say the sky is purple. I'm going to say the sky is red. But we know the sky is blue. Like, we got to find a common point of true information, of valid information that we both can say, like, I disagree with you, but I know this is true. So making sure that both parties have the right information. And I think this is a great platform to maybe not talk about House Bill 678, but it's like to the chase point about, I know y'all gonna talk about it later, I think, but just like they are suing people that took advantage of the glitch, right? But like, let's talk about banks in general and black banks. And I just bringing the conversation home, especially when we in Chicago, finding ways to be like, yo, I may not ever be affected by the abortion piece, right? Especially if you're a man, well, depending on your dating life and all that. But besides that, you as a man may not be directly affected by that. But if we talking about parking tickets, this red light camera,
the speeding cameras.
I got so many tickets, they on a payment plan. And so talking about some of these issues that hit home, I think that's how you start the conversations. And not being offended if we walk away and say, I still don't agree with you. I understand this is your view, but like, what are the facts? So I just think as black folks, we got to have more real conversations because we do about everything else. We know what's happening on the Shade Room.
We do. And that's one thing we try to do up here. We have uncomfortable conversations. We just have real conversations. How was that with you, though? Like, let's say, because, like, for lack of a better word, you like us. Like, you come from the same background as us. You hang around some of the same people as us. But your profession is different. Like, everybody's profession is different. So your profession is different than ours, you know? So, but how does that, when you come back around your people? Like, how do you, like, code switch, or how do you have those conversations with your people about, you know, politics or what's going on, and to make it and make it easier for them to comprehend? Like, how does that go?
That's a good question. I also add another layer in there. I'm a pastor too. We ain't got to talk about it, please don't.
Wait.
Adding that, like the Christian layer, adding the
right, stop cursing.
No. But even to that point, like, I'm going to be me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be who I'm called to be, regardless of my setting and my environment. Things do not intimidate me, because I think that's the opposite of Christianity and what Jesus actually did.
Yes, I love that.
There. But to your point about coming back and talking to folks, like, it keeps me level-headed. Right? Like, you get into these rooms. A lot of my friends think I just drink and party with legislators. They're not wrong. I'm in rooms where I'm talking to legislators about passing bills that advocate for kids, because that's my day job, right? But making sure that the real conversations that I'm having with friends, peers, folks like y'all on platforms like this, making sure I'm hearing the real issues. Because I think being in the middle of the political world and all that's happening, and then being at home where somebody got shot down the street from my neighborhood 2 days ago, right? It keeps me in both worlds. But I'm able to say, hey, violence is a problem on the south side of Chicago. What am I doing over here to help that? What conversations am I having with legislators? Because to be honest, I feel like I'm a bridge because I feel like some of the legislators are from federal, state to local, aldermen, state reps, state senators to your congressional folks. Like folks are out of touch about the real problem. So I think being in both worlds helps me stay level headed. And when I'm able to regurgitate what's happening at the top to the bottom, and and I'm also able to talk about the real conversations to folks that pass bills every day.
So how do they receive that?
Which part? Which part?
You being able to be that bridge, say, hey, I'm living in these streets. I know what's going on, and this is what I'm seeing. Because a lot of the times they get in these offices and they move out of those, situations. They move out. That's why I do love Brandon Johnson for still being on the west side of Chicago.
Yeah.
But don't shake your head.
I'm a South Sider too, but I support.
But that's
our
good,
West
and I
Side
feel like
family.
it's good to see in the community as well. Like for the
sure.
younger generation to see that, oh, my mayor literally stays down the street. I think that's dope. But back to the question, like how do they receive that from you? They may be of like a higher rank than you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they receive that when you tell them like I'm here and I'm seeing what's going on?
I think because of my rising influence, they take me seriously as the years go on.
Okay.
Right. I think there was a point when legislators didn't. I mean, social media has transformed into something incredible. Right. People are making whole lifestyles off of this, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. So I think seeing how active I am in my real life versus like being online, like I think they take me seriously, and I think because I have a following both in the church, online, in real life, and people care about what I have to say, I think they tend to lend an ear to me. Now, it's not always receptive. I used to always give this example. When black folks do crazy things, I am the first one to be like, get y'all cousins, for sure. But when I'm talking to people that are not black or brown, I'm like, don't you talk about them. Like, let me tell y'all our struggles. Let me tell you the reasons for that. So it's the same thing. Like, when I'm talking to legislators, I'm very much like, hey, these are the issues. But I try to be a bridge to make sure that both sides understand one another. Because to your point, folks get in office and stop caring about what's really happening because you're making a salary. You got a pension. And so you're going to stay in office until you die. And ain't nobody going to be ready to pass the baton. And then we still have broken neighborhoods, right? So I think it's incumbent upon me to make sure that I am being the translator and being as authentic as I can so both parties can understand what's happening.
It's interesting that you say that. It basically comes down to like don't show out in front of company is what I'm
Facts.
gathering from
Yeah.
you. It kind of leads into the question that I wanted to ask you about in regards to the rallies that happened over the weekend, or last week rather.
Really a two-part question. One, your reaction to both, if you did catch both. The talk that we had, obviously, the comedian that was at Trump's rally, and then there was some stuff that happened. I believe his name is maybe a hot beer or something. I can't remember his name, but he took a side spot that Beyonce, but he spent time on the Harris rally, said something about her being more worried about her record, her skin versus the campaign. I want to get your take on it. But my other question had to do more with comments. So I'll let you answer the first one and then I'll play the second one.
Yeah, to my point earlier, that was asking a question. To my point earlier about, I think before we went live, the writing is on the wall. My only tangent to that is that this Palestinian and Israel war conflict is a real thing. And so folks that are in the gray about voting for Kamala, I get it. She's a part of Biden's administration. She is one of the folks that can be associated with what's happening and the fact that we have weapons that are being sold and we keep giving money to Ukraine and all these other folks. So I get it. And I'm bringing this up after that around to your question. But those are real concerns of real people that have family members that are actually dying. My point to that is, yes, Kamala is not innocent in that regard. She's made remarks that she's striving for a ceasefire and all these things. However, like, if we vote for Trump, him and Netanyahu, I can never pronounce his name. And he's gonna encourage that for him to take care of Israel and do everything he needed. So we're not gonna be in a bad situation if Trump is president and your concern is our Palestinian people, which is a real issue. But those uncommitted voters really have a strong say in what they happen in these swing states. Going back to your question, I think the rally was the point of writing on the wall. Like, if we vote for Trump, these are the people that are going to be in this administration. These are the people who don't care about Puerto Rico. Trump is the same guy that threw paper
Toilet
towels
paper,
to them
right? Yeah.
after Hurricane. No, that wasn't Katrina. What was it? Helene. Oh, that just happened. Hurricane. I can't do that. But and he waited to give them services like a year or two before they got full services. But he was going to paper towels.
Right.
But now this is the island of garbage. What are we talking about? And I guarantee if you talk to some Republicans, they don't even know Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Like these are low information people who are bigots, racist, and this is going to be the party we're looking at if we don't address this election. So my take on the entire rally, I think it was the Klan's rally. I think it was people who are sharing their real thoughts. And if you look at some of the articles, they're talking about, oh, the Trump campaign, like we're not responsible, or we don't agree with what was being said. Y'all team uploaded the teleprompter with these remarks, and I use the teleprompter for my show, so I have to do what the team has to say. So I know that's BS, right? So I think we just got to put two and two together. The writing's on the wall, and I think the rally was just a good example of how crazy it is Kamala is going to be elected and how crazy it is Trump is going to be reelected.
That's the so one. I was looking at your reaction. You didn't know that about Trump? The toilet paper thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna.
No
No,
attention.
you good, you good. But the
I don't pay him no attention.
on the other side of that, the comedian got up there and basically sprayed Puerto Rico was going
Did you
off on
see
the
that?
About the recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how could you do that? It's very flagrant, very overtly like sinister, racist almost. Like for you to get up there and do that at a rally, like this is supposed to be like the peak of what's going on.
Honestly, sometimes I think that they do it on purpose. Like I think about that with like companies that come out and face backlash for like certain racist advertisements. I think they do it on purpose for the attention. It's kind of like a reverse clout clickbait
Yeah,
thing.
it seemed very shock value.
Yeah, I don't think
It just doesn't seem like
I
they
don't
read
think
the
it's a
room.
mistake. I don't think it's ever a mistake.
But even if you look at I can't quote it verbatim, but when they were talking about Hispanics have a lot of kids, they don't know how to pull out or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
The Hispanics, if y'all look at that, it was folks in the crowd cheering. Like what? You didn't hear that either?
I ain't hear that. I was,
It was folks in the crowd
He loves some
cheering.
racism.
No, I
he jumped
love
up out of his
racism.
seat for some.
He likes to dig into the racism.
nah, keep
Okay.
going. These
No,
clicks.
but I'm saying it's stuff like to your point, like you're talking about Hispanic people are in the audience applauding. Where's the disconnect? Not let's even go back to Trump's plan. His plan is mass deportation. He not deporting me. He's supporting people of Hispanic heritage,
Right.
immigrants. So like I am very if y'all were to ask me what question mark do I have, I am nervous about the disconnectivity between those statements like that.
It has to be. And if you look at Don Lemon, ever since he got fired, he's been doing this thing over Don Lemon.
Wow.
But he's been interviewing these people that are like, y'all vote for Trump. And they'll say something false. And he's like, you know, Kamala did that, right? And they're like, well, Trump just, no, you have no information. And to be honest, most of these people that are black, brown, different, white women specifically don't want to vote for Kamala. She's still a black woman and a woman.
And some of the calls that we get from men that are just like against her strictly because she's a woman is really insane.
That's what happened to Hillary. Now
said
Hillary
she's a
didn't
woman.
campaign the way she should have, and that Coleman report, like all that stuff happened
Yeah.
with Hillary. But a lot of the people were saying the same thing, like she's a woman, we shouldn't have a woman president. What are we talking about?
Like
Yeah, that's ass backwards to me. I don't like
Agreed.
that. I don't like that.
we make the world.
I
It's
do
what
want
makes
to.
us
I do want to get on the deportation thing, right? And the immigrants, right? Because you got the mayor tomorrow. You know, the Venezuela thing is a huge thing. Now.
Is a real
A
valid
real
one.
huge
Yeah.
thing.
Stand up.
Don't say it like that. See, I personally don't have no problem. I almost hit one today too.
Driving.
Yeah, he just walked in the middle of the street throwing up gang signs. Like the police looked at him too, like, dude, you crazy. And I ain't have my seatbelt on, so I'm trying to put my seatbelt on while the police next to me and shit.
And, yeah, almost took that man life.
But nah, wasn't paying no attention. He was like walking backwards, throwing up gang signs on something, and I had to stop. Like, G, you tweaking. But the Venezuelan, the migrant crisis right here in Chicago and just a lot of Democratic cities, right? Like, I think it's L.A., New York, and Chicago, where it's like real huge. So the talks is that they getting a lot of funding, they getting housing, they getting black people that link. When they see they getting all that link, black people start going crazy. Uh, I personally, when those things come up, I don't be knowing what's true or not because I just hit a lot of internet shit. But I'm gonna ask the question to you: like, any of that shit true?
Yep. It is. Like, I think if the Republicans, I hope none are watching, maybe they are. But if I was a Republican strategist, that would have been, I would have said, hey, Trump, pull it together for the next 3 months. Harp on immigration. Because it is a real concern. I mean, there hasn't been anything done in decades when it comes to the border. And there's is it 7 billion or 6 billion? 6 billion more immigrants in America than it was when Trump was in office. Number of reasons, right? We got the Israeli-Palestinian thing happening. We got the Ukraine, Russia thing. So it's a lot of reasons, but those are real issues. And if you talk to your everyday people, they don't see what's happening on the news. They see folks in the middle of the street. They see folks like at police stations. I know we've cleared some of those folks are now in better conditions, but like before, it's like, what are these migrants doing here? And black and brown communities been struggling since I was younger, right? They are all real concerns. So I haven't spent my time really necessarily negating some of those things because I think that's an issue for me too. I told y'all I'm moderate leaning, fake conservative, but I think to the Democrat point, I think Kamala has a great chance of addressing some of those issues, not because she's perfect, but because Trump is either hot or cold. Like he doesn't even want to work on the board. He wants to get rid of everybody that's an immigrant. And what happens when we get rid of migrants? Vegetables, food, all the hard jobs that they say that are being taken. Black folks don't have those jobs. It's hard working Hispanic people that are on the ground cutting these vegetables, washing the fruit, and it's a way of life. And so I don't. Most of the things that you said are accurate. There's a lot of funding that has been going to migrants, and the question is, what are we doing for black and brown communities? I would also argue that that's also a state thing. It's a Governor Pritzker question. It's a Mayor Brandon question. I think we always go to like Biden. He's the president. He deals with a lot of federal issues, but a lot of things are left to the states. But could there be some more funding that comes federally? For sure. And a lot of that money came through COVID funding. And that's another reason why some of the migrants got funding too. It wasn't that we were just pulling money out the wazoo. It was that we have this money associated from COVID left over. We're going to use some of that funding.
So why they didn't use none of that funding for black and brown communities that was already underserved, that education, because I lived in Roseland for a while. Roseland is a food desert, I got family live in Bronzeville. I'm from Bronzeville. I heard they closing the Mariano's on 39th. That's a grocery store that's leaving the community.
They closing it?
Yeah, they're supposed to be closing down on 39th and King Drive.
It hasn't even been there that long.
Yeah, my sister just told me that recently. Like, they supposed to be closing the Mariano's down. So it's like we in these situations where it's food deserts. Like, we got a lot of homeless people. Shout out to Inglewood Barbie. She been feeding the friends for years. There's a lot of people homeless. Like, they was even tearing down their tents. They putting up gates so people can't sleep under the expressway. But the migrants are getting this funding, getting these units. Like, that's just where I'm coming from with it. Like this is what I'm seeing. So, but if I see Trump on and he's saying like, yo, we can fix this, we can deport them. Can we get mad at black and brown people saying like, no, we're gonna vote for dude because I'm already frustrated about what the Democrats are doing because Brandon Johnson is getting them all this money. He don't have no answer for them. So can we get mad about black and brown people if they want to vote for this guy? If he's going to eliminate that problem?
My answer or rebut to that is twofold. Is your immediate response to that? No, I can't get upset because they're real issues, especially if you got 2 jobs, you got 2 kids, and life is tough. Even if you ain't got no kids, life is tough. I understand that. But I think if we look at the history of Trump in office, what did he do when he was there? He did not commit to this wall he said he was going to build.
He halfway built it.
Right? Like, I think we can't get mad at them. But also, if Trump is the answer, what has he done? Because Trump has been president. Kamala Harris has not. Trump, you didn't build the wall. There was a bill that was going to address border security. You stopped that from happening, so it would not be a win for President Joe Biden. Like, there are things that, like, yeah, I I can understand your frustration, but Trump is not the answer when it comes to certain stuff. But we can also hold the Democratic Party accountable in the same way. I just think sometimes before we even get to president and holding them super accountable, we got to talk about some of these local legislators, state reps, state senator. What are y'all doing? Where's the funding coming to help the homeless people in our state? Like, what's actually happening?
That's been my question because, like, if they're able to pull funding from COVID to help fund the migrants, why can't they pull funding from other places? Why haven't they been pulling funding from other places to help the homeless problem that we had before the migrants even got here?
My immediate answer to that is if we're talking about Chicago specifically.
Yeah, or even try to send them to the suburbs. Because I know at one point he was paying the suburbs a couple million to take some of the migrants.
Yeah, I think Chicago is such a beautiful city.
We are
I think
beautiful.
We have so many crazy problems. And homelessness, along with job security, along with criminal justice, there are so many issues. So I think if we're talking about Chicago specific on why we don't address these issues, we don't hold legislators accountable, but we're also in debt where our education system, which one of the things I want to talk to Mayor Brandon about tomorrow, like that's a real issue. Our education system is not the best. And so the funding that is needed for those things is not being funded. So we have all these, what I'm saying is we have all these different priorities that require money, and then you add a migrant crisis on top of it. It's difficult. But to your point, your broader point, what are folks doing in regards to this issue? I think we hold federal folks accountable, but I think we also got to hold these city and state folks accountable because if we're talking about immediate effect, these state legislators and these aldermen are the ones that can get the money more directly. Does some of that funding come federally? For sure. So they need to be, from U.S. senators to congressional folks, they need to be advocating on a federal level. And then our state folks need to be passing legislation that trickles down to these local folks, i.e. the aldermen.
So what does that look like? Like, it's one thing to say it, but as
Sure.
for people in the community, like, what are the steps of holding them accountable? What does that look like?
That'll take a whole episode. I think, practically speaking, I think we have to be more in tune with what's happening. I think a lot of these legislators are able to escape and get by with 4 to 5, whatever many terms, because we aren't paying attention, rightfully so. We got matters, we got kids, we in school, we got real jobs. But I think we have to pay more attention to what's happening so we can know what to hold them accountable for. That's point one. I think in practice, though, that means taking an interest in city council. I mean, he talked about property taxes today, and I got to go back and watch it before I form an opinion because I'm a homeowner for 4 years, and you talking about raising my taxes, bro?
Yeah, he has.
What are
been
we
talking
talking
raising
about?
taxes.
And I got to figure out my opinion for tomorrow so I can ask him and also
ask him about these parking tickets too, because I can't
Listen.
park nowhere for free no more, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and that all funds the city of Chicago, which are all real questions. So I think, to practically speaking, start out with the issue that matters to you. Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's parking tickets, whether that's homelessness, and find these organizations. Some of these organizations are doing the work. They just lack the money to present legislation or lack the capacity to fight for all these different issues. So I think it's paying more attention, finding out who your electeds are. If you ask most people, they don't know who they state rep is or their state senator. They'll tell me Dick Durbin, and that's your congressional person, right? Your congressional senator. So I think we just got to be more in tune. And then on the other hand, like, we don't make them be accountable to us. We elect them because our grandma knows their cousin or we know their name is on the ballot. And from that point, they're in office until they die. Like, we have to, I'm putting the onus on us because we are more in tune with what happens on the shade room. Shout out to the shade room. No shade there. That was no pun intended either. We know more what's happening in pop culture than we do what's happening in our own neighborhoods unless somebody gets shot, unless property taxes go up. So I think the onus is on us so we can hold them accountable because I honestly think, at least for the millennials, a lot of us are poised to run for office now. And if we run, we'll win because of our real struggles and how in tune we are with the people. So I think it's on us to become the next generations of leaders where we hold them accountable or get them out of office.
Let's stay in that vein real quick.
Yep.
In terms of holding our politicians accountable, right?
Sure.
Let's talk about Vice President
Harris for a second. You got 3 black men. The conversation I've been hearing is she's getting ready to do Charlemagne. She just did Club Shake Shake. Their viewership is predominantly black men, right? The conversation is stemming around why it took so long in her very short campaign, because all of her stuff has been You're a lobbyist, okay, so you kind of know the ins and outs of this. Why did it take so long for her to try to come and secure the black male vote? Because the conversation that she came for us last instead of us being one of the first that she appealed to, especially given all of the criticism behind her. Vic Mensa came out, Cody mentioned it before the show started. He came out and made a statement about the misconception that she put all these black men in prison. I wasn't the most educated about Vice President Hill's term. That made me feel amazing. It was something I did not know. So just speaking to you, what do you feel is the reason that she's going to these platforms that appeal to black men so late in the election process as opposed to reaching out to them in the beginning?
That's a good question. I think first, said it's been defense. I've been in politics for 12, and I didn't even predict that happening. Like I thought we were going to lose the final city race, honestly. Like that I was ready to prepare my previous abroad, figure it out. So I didn't predict it, and I say that to say because this is unprecedented. I think they had a hard pass in the now, I agree. Some of the audiences they have been addressing now should have been at the forefront. But I also think we should have a different perspective, too, is that they're addressing some of these audiences. Trump ain't going to go on Twitter, Shay. Trump went on Rogan, and he saw what happened there, right? Like, it was a disaster. But I think, like, she went on Carl Daddy podcast, she went on Howard Stern, like, these outlets that are, whether white men, white, older men, whatever, black men. I think the question isn't necessarily why she's just addressing it now. I think the point is she is addressing it with 3 months in the game. And I think this also shows she's listening. I think from her ads to her political campaign, like y'all see the type of conversations they're having. Like it's everyday, normal. Let me get some pizza. I'm getting coffee, and that may not be anything super appealing to the natural eye, but it shows that you're a human. And I think going to places like Club Shay, yes, it meets the black viewer, and she's listening to her staff. Like you got to think about a campaign that is federal and presidency. They have all these different bases. And so first, if I'm a campaign manager, I'm focusing on swing states. Period. Like black men is still important, black women are still important, Hispanic folks are important too, but I'm focusing on the number game. If I can get to the swing states, okay, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, okay, again from that. And I think you see that. I think you see the campaigns in Michigan and Wisconsin. Now it's like, who are these groups that we can target? Black men. And I think she even addressed it maybe later in the game, but she has a whole economic policy towards black people. I mean, for addressing sickle cell research and evidence that helps them, providing small business loans, which Trump doesn't care about because you've had over 2 businesses go bankrupt and you still make it black men in office. So I think I understand the question and I respect it. My perspective is more towards you now addressing it. Maybe it's too late in the game, but I guarantee you black men are now seeing some of the messages, and because we're still a week away, like some of those things may be persuaded.
So what do you say, or what's your opinion on people who? Because I feel like just watching the campaign, a lot of things. I don't think she has come out to just like apologize for, but she's also said like that's not my stance anymore. Like I don't feel that way anymore, and I think a lot of people don't want to give her that grace for being able to get on a different side of a policy or a bill, whatever it is. I think people don't want to give her that grace. Like, oh, but she still said this back in 2008, or she still put these people behind bars. Like, what do you say to people like that?
I say Trump can get up there and say the N word. He can get up there and dance and sway for what was that? Did he sway for 40 minutes at that rally listening to something? And the conversation is a little bit towards like Trump is crazy, man. Kamala did anything remotely similar to that, the Democrats would lose the election because of all of the press. So I think it's in part she's a black woman still in this race. Indian, sure, Jamaican, let's be technical, but you're a black woman. And because you are a woman and you're black and you're running for president, you already have a double standard. you already are coming in 3 months late in the game. So your criticism is A1 because of all the odds stacked against you already. And if you, again, looking at the Republican Party, I know I saw an interview that was saying, like, Democrats, when you talk to them, they always point out what the other party is doing wrong versus talking about what their party is doing right. I agree. But that's because the other party is so outrageous. Before we can talk about, I can tell you the platform all day, but talk about what it will be like under a Trump presidency. And I think because Trump is a white man, still crazy, nuts, but he's a white man. He brings out a type of racism that people have been waiting to just explore and be vocal about. Kamala Harris is, you have to be 10 times better from jump. So that's my thought. Just
That's
focusing
what an
on like
everyday black
the
woman.
fact. That's life of a black woman in general. Sorry, black men that are in here, but
We
like, you know,
y'all got
being
it
a-
hard too.
being a black woman, like, it's that double standard. We're told from the moment we're younger, you got to be better. Not only am I black, but you're a woman. So I am seen, this is not right, but I'm seen as inferior to a man anyway. Now you have a black woman running for president?
He wouldn't even shake her hand at the
No.
debate.
If that was a black man,
He would at least get
he would have at least acknowledged that. He tried to walk to the podium and not even speak to her.
I say, oh, I don't stand for this, I don't stand for that anymore, and people just continue to push. Well, she put these many people behind bars for this, and she, I think it was All the Smoke podcast when they would ask her about how she feel about marijuana, and she was like, that's fine. Like, I don't believe in putting people behind bars just for having like weed. Like, that's all she said. But people were still like, "Would you put all these people back in?" But technically, it was still her job.
Yeah.
I was gonna say even
That
with,
was her job
even
at
with
the
that
time.
though. Yeah, I'm gonna say even with that.
Yeah, it
that's
was
her
her job at the
That's the
time.
law.
So it's like, give her grace. She in a position right now where she don't have to choose that route. She's
Yeah, it's the law.
yeah.
To
It
that
pisses
point,
me out all the
though,
time.
I've been doing a lot of just reading of like what's happening because I think we're living in an apocalypse. Personally, I tell my friends that
It gives
every
me a
day.
simulation. Like somebody is running all of
We
this.
said
You
we
said we in,
we said it almost
you
once
said
a
we
week.
in an apocalypse.
I think so. That
Yeah.
I'm playing, but I am building my basement to be a
It's
bunker.
going
No
up.
lie, because I don't know what's gonna
I
happen.
just
But
moved too.
Get
I
your
say-
canned goods ready.
Yo, did you see? Did y'all see the CN? Did y'all see the CN? What was this? When Abby Phillips show when the dude said something about bro beeper going off?
Yes.
Oh,
he was saying he was pro-Palestinian, and I forget the man's name. He was like, "Oh, I hope your beeper doesn't
That's
go off."
next level. That's crazy, bro.
But for
your-
that
what's
to
your
even
beeper?
happen in this climate, huh?
He's talking about a bomb, bro.
Because
Yeah,
he
your
thought, I don't know how you thought this, he was lying, but he thought he was referring to he was pro-Hamas. So terrorists, and so he's like, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. And then they uproared, and it was crazy. But to that point, the fact that that was said on national
National
TV,
TV.
It's insane.
it shows you the type of climate that Donald Trump is welcoming in. And to something you said, I can't remember what point you said, but it made me think about, I'm starting to blame the media. We don't treat Trump as a threat. This man is a national, first of all, he's a convicted felon, point one. So if this man gets elected, most of the felons should be able to get out. Now, some people need to stay in there because you did it, stay. However, we have a convicted felon, almost president of the United States. The media has not done a good job of painting him as a threat. We laugh it off. We say that's Trump, whatever. And at first, maybe the first time around, it was weird. Like, Trump ain't gonna win. Like, he's crazy. But now we're in a situation where he may actually win presidency again. So I blame some of the media, thus that CNN interview, because some of the folks, I think Charlemagne addressed CNN, Anderson Cooper, and was like, y'all don't treat him like a threat? Because they don't. And Anderson Cooper, to show you how much I think it got under his skin, he got so uncomfortable. Like, what do you mean? We do say this. No, y'all don't. Y'all don't treat him as the threat that he is. Otherwise, stuff like saying your beeper won't go off on national television would not have been said at all in this day and age.
My brother and I were having this conversation because we watching both rallies just for the sake of the show. And the perspective he gave me was like, man, bro, there are supporters of Trump that are willing to die about this man. Like
Facts.
that January 6th, going into the Capitol, the way that people are overtly racist, like flagrantly racist now, on camera, not really caring how people view them. That is all motivated by their blind support of this man. You just said Don Lemon went and dispelled some things to people, did some man on the street stuff.
Sure.
And Vice President Harris did this or did that. Vic Mensa, again, he came out and made those statements. The ferocity in which these people are supporting this man versus the support that Vice President Harris is galvanizing a week before the election now at this point.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that our country can be conscious, but there are so many people that have made outward statements to say this is how far we're willing to go to support this man. It's almost like cult leadership
Yeah.
as opposed
It
to
is.
being a political candidate or presidential candidate.
Yeah, because they dress up, they paint their faces, and it's
They're willing to
looking
resort to
certain.
violence
Yeah.
for the sake of their vote for this person. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal behavior when it
It's
comes
not.
to politics or selecting the right leader for our country.
Yeah. I forget what I was listening to the other day, but they were talking about like, can we get back to the days of like John McCain, Mitt Romney,
Well, you
like
just
you
go
know
and
the
vote and go home.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you go
Like,
vote
it's like,
and you
I
go
don't
home.
agree with you. You a little crazy, but I could deal with it. The Jeb Bushes of the world, right? And I am so scared for what happens next on either side because Kamala has a lot of work to do if she gets in office, and Trump, if he gets in office, I feel like we're going back to Jim Crow. I feel like it's going to be a lot of things that happen that like are definitely targeted towards black and brown people. And so to your point, I really hope that the nations, I think she's going to win. I'm going to leave that here. I think it's going to be very close. I think a lot can happen in 1 week, but I do think that she has a really good chance of winning because I think though in the last quarter of the game, right, people are starting to see like, oh, this man is crazy. That interview Trump did with Rogan, like I saw some comments that were like, you know, I thought he was cool. Like I supported Trump until he got on that podcast, and I guess Rogan was basically like, "No, I want her to come on my show," and Trump was like, "She's gonna be rolling on the ground and like doing all these crazy like you are."
Like
Like
mental as the people that be at
it's a
your
growing
rallies.
problem. It's a
Yes,
growing problem,
it's
and
a
I think
mental
people are
thing.
starting to see like if we vote for this man, like he's really not smart.
And we have to understand the older people they lose it up there.
Yeah.
As we damn near saw with our current president.
Yep.
Ain't Trump older than Biden?
He's 78, I think.
Like a few years younger.
Who's 78?
I thought Trump was like 78.
Like
something
seven,
like that.
like I thought he up
He's
there.
he's a few years younger than Biden, but now Trump is the oldest in the race.
We
for
need
sure.
younger,
Almost 59.
brighter, more mentally
You know what's
capable
crazy?
presidents in the world.
I'm actually kind of frightened if Vice President Harris does win because what happens to
Like
the Trump
January
supporters when
6th.
she wins? It's almost
They go
like
crazy.
what happened when OJ was found not guilty. It was all of this like the stress behind it.
You already got proof of that. We got January 6th.
Right, you took the words out of my head.
Yeah, so
Like,
we already seen what's gonna happen
And he
if he
swore
don't
to this
win.
day that had nothing to do with him.
He had a rally.
He
Didn't he have a
was
rally like an hour
He
before?
swear this had
In the place where they
Yeah, and told them
He
like,
swear it
yeah.
had
Yeah.
nothing. He swore to this day it had nothing to do with him.
And that brings up a good point because I was having to your point earlier about like how do I talk to my friends. I was telling them I was like, y'all, what's really scary is I don't think Trump is the goal of the Republican Party. I think JD Vance is. I think JD Vance is more modeled, position, like not too crazy,
He a little younger.
but crazy, like crazier than Trump. Because if you look at Trump's record, like he was supporting Democrats, he was an entertainer, he's on TV, he had businesses. Like he wasn't perfect. He's still nuts, but like the perfect like position candidate to carry out Project 2025 is a JD Vance. That man is literally like listen to some of the stuff he says. Like he blew off the jokes at the rally from Kill Tony, like, oh, we're just too sensitive as a country. All these racist jokes, and that's what you
You
say
don't
as
say that at
VP
a rally.
At
like-
a VP, as a VP candidate, you don't say we don't reflect those views. You say, oh, what they said is fine. You know, America is too sensitive. I think JD Vance is the model idea. Like not visibly crazy, but like, oh, let's get Trump in there because we really want this. While Trump is being crazy, he's on mics. They are grooming what's going to be Project 2025, getting
And he
rid of the
technically has
education
the
system,
credentials
getting
for
rid
it,
of
too.
credentials.
Yeah.
Like you're smart, you can word stuff in a way like that debate with Walls and him. Like people left that debate confused because it was civil. He was still saying crazy stuff if you caught it, but it was civil. It wasn't like a Trump where it was like blatantly like you're nuts. It was, I don't hate JD Vance, but I don't agree with him. That is the idea of the Republican Party, so they can shift their agenda to Project 2025, where anybody that is of the lesbian, gay, that cohort, like transgender, y'all don't matter. Abortion rights, y'all don't matter. Civil rights aren't a thing. Critical race theory shouldn't be taught. So take all the black books out of school because slavery really wasn't real and that many people didn't get beat. Education system, y'all don't need that. Like if y'all look at that agenda, it is nuts. It is literally like Jim Crow on steroids.
My question is, why do we have to take away slavery after schools? Why are the LGBTQ community a bad thing? Like, what hurts y'all so bad that we have to eliminate this from life, from the country in general?
As a Christian, I think Christianity has gotten to a point where it is perverted. I think they did that back in slavery when they took, because, I have a whole thought about how Christianity was here actually before some of these other things, but I digress. I think they've taken the Bible and said, this is what we're going to live by. There are some things I agree with. Like, that's probably not what Jesus wants us to do, but Jesus also gave us free will, bro. So if that's the life you want to live, I'm not going to agree with that lifestyle, maybe. However, I'm going to fight for your rights because you're a human. So I think it's a mixture of white nationalism, Christian, like perverted Christian gospel, and a mixture of all these things that only support a white heterosexual man. Anything other than that, like, is not accepted. So that's why you have people being so threatened by transgender thoughts. Now, do I think kids that are younger than a certain age should be making decisions on whether they want to change their body parts to match how they feel? No, I absolutely agree. Wait till they're a certain age.
Sure.
But like the thought of taking slavery out the textbooks because it doesn't paint white people in a great manner. Let's talk about history and move forward. We do about it with y'all ancestors.
And we barely talk about it as it is. So what's the problem?
Because it's fading away. Yeah, I just think it paints white people in a bad way, so we don't want to talk about it because America is a white, God-fearing nation.
Sense.
Man, every time I watch Roots, I be man.
First off, how many times do you just watch
Roots on a regular?
Yeah, I watch Roots. Like,
every time I watch Roots, it's a crazy statement.
Roots are how you listen. I just feel like Roots are how you looking at white people in a whole different way. Like that literally broke down slavery. Like they gave you the essence of slavery, like not the new Roots, but dude them.
Dude them is crazy.
Not the light skinned Kuta can't tell you. I'm talking about the old school with Daddy from Good Times Roots.
Rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Roots are how you. But what I did want to ask a question about. You talked about Israel and you talked about Hamas, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people I know, they say like, yo, black people, we shouldn't be worried about what goes on over there when we got issues over here that we need to get in order. What's your take on that?
Those affect us.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, I think I try to put it in a international relations perspective. So, say Hamas. Let me be clear. Hamas and Palestine are not the same thing, right? Hamas is a terrorist group.
Palestine.
Not anything you say. I just want to clarify for the audience listening. Hamas is a terrorist group. Palestinian folks are the people that deserve to have that land just as much as the Israelis. Point one. Point two, I think, let's say if Hamas, Hezbollah, some of the other terrorist groups take over and Israel is no longer the main group there, where y'all think they're going next? Here. The goal is to get rid of the West. I think if we take some history lessons and look at some of the language of folks from terrorist groups, if we can go all the way back to ISIS and some of these other groups, it's the West. They have a problem with the West because we're collaborative. I mean, we don't stay out of business that's not ours, but that's because of some of the accords and agreements we're a part. We're for collaboration. We're for different measures that support countries surrounding us and being good partners, all of that good stuff. But they don't like the West. So I would say, high level for answers like that, these issues affect us, right? And if they get rid of some of the groups they want to, they're coming after the West next. I mean, it's a dictatorship. Then we talk about that in the beginning. Trump wants a dictatorship. Some of these leaders, i.e. Putin, i.e. some of these other folks and terrorists, want a dictatorship. And so their goal is to rule all the land. They're just not going to stop because we got to a border, it's the issues are going to affect us.
But within the Palestine and Israeli thing, didn't the Israel take majority of Palestine land over the years throughout time?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of
Yeah.
history there with the fighting. Most Israelis of the religious piece believe that land
And
was designed for
Jerusalem,
them,
yeah.
right? That's debatable, depending on what theologian you're talking about, talking to anyway. But they have taken a lot of that land, and to be honest, the United States helped form Israel, and we are still helping Israel with weapons and support and all the things. It's for a greater cause on the pro side, but on the con side, we have disproportionately affected Palestinians and not doing our best to support them because they are still people. Gaza wasn't in the best condition pre this happening. So I think it's a lot of historical context that goes into it. But the conclusion is all of this affects us. And I see the arguments on X now about like we're black people, we got our own issues. We do, and we should be fighting for those issues too. But we also should stand up for people that have went through conditions like some of our ancestors have, and being vocal about some of those issues while understanding that Israelis are suffering too. Both parties are suffering. And if you talk to some Israelis, they don't want that man as their president. So I think we got to look at the historical context and focus on like what can we be doing in our right now to support people of Palestinian descent, but also support us and our issues because they're twofold. It's dual.
Okay. So as we in the getting this election season, it's a lot of stuff that be happening in the news, right?
Sure.
And one of the key things that I see on the internet all the time, they say that distraction. So they say the Diddy thing was a distraction. They say the Lil Durk thing is a distraction.
Free
Do you feel-
guys.
Yeah,
Okay. Free smirk.
free smirk. Do you feel like do you believe in any of those conspiracy theories and like feel like all this stuff happens to like blind like the black and brown people from what's really
Because
going
they
on?
pissing me off trying to let these Menendez brothers out.
The Menendez brothers coming home?
Thanksgiving.
Please.
It's Thanksgiving.
That's crazy. I started
Man,
watching
free
it and
my
I just
uncle.
got so distracted. I mean, just like the Popeye sandwiches were. Yeah, distractions. Right? Like, I feel like
Alkaline water.
I think they take advantage of the fact that we are a cultural people. So we tend to follow what's happening within our culture more so than what's happening outwards, which can contribute to the lack of information sometimes we get about government and stuff like that. I think it's all a distraction, and I think some other races are able to remain cultural and tune into what happens. But for us, I think sometimes as a people, we focus on the wrong things. And I do think government groups, they take advantage of that, i.e. Trump presenting gym shoes to say, y'all, I know the black folks are gonna buy these. That was such a slap in the face to every black person in the world. So like, I think they take advantage of all that. And I think the P. Diddy stuff was gonna happen. It's just a matter of time that it's happened now. So I think they are distractions. I don't think they plan these distractions, but I think because they're happening, let's focus on this so we can do these things behind closed doors. But they've been doing that for years for black people.
Yeah.
They keep us focused on this one thing while they're changing policies and doing all these things in the background.
Is 50 Cent stupid or crazy for turning down $3 million for not doing a movie
Solid.
at the rally?
My off the record answer is probably different what I'll say on the record. On the record, I mean, 50 got money. Like, that's probably a drop in the bucket for him.
Yeah,
I don't watch Power and stuff like that, so I don't really know, but I think that's a drop in the bucket for him. I think he stuck to what he thought was right. If Ashley would turn down that much money,
Baby, I'm Donald Trump. What you want me to say?
Somebody can say that he could have took that $3 million for how long it's gonna take him to be up there, and then did something in the community that he came from. Obviously, like you said, $3 million might be a drop in the
But
bucket.
50 Cent does community work.
He does. He does. I'm just asking for this particular. I'm happy he
I
turned it
get
down.
it, but it's
I just was
like,
asking, like, damn, $3 million.
I think that's a fair scenario, but I think he would have been ridiculed before we even got to what he did. Like, black folks see stuff online like, dang, that's crazy. He a sellout.
They fried Christian Michelle.
Yeah, like, he'll be in that category, and then they'll see the money like, oh. But he'll probably still get some of that, like, oh, he's still a sellout. So, I mean, he could have turned it around that way. I think for him, it was a no. I think, I would have turned it down too eventually. Maybe like 3 to 5 business days to talk about it and think about what I could do with that money and
I
the Lord's
probably
gonna
would
make a
took
way
the
another
heat.
way.
I would
You
have
know?
just took the heat, and then on election day, been like, I voted for Harris, guys.
Gotcha.
Crazy. And
I'm
all the
getting
money
my
going
bag.
into this race is crazy. When they were having all those like black men for Harris, white women for Harris,
Having
cat
those
ladies
mass
for
phone
Harris,
calls
money.
and-
No, yeah. Since we talking about
Talk about it. I know what you're doing too. Get out of my phone.
Yeah,
please.
why they listen? They be texting me like we hit you up 6 times. Why you ain't like G? Who is you talking to?
They told me I'm in the group.
They text me last night. I got a message said we need to know. Are you with Vice President Harris or not?
That should be illegal.
I had to text stop in big letters. STOP.
Y'all
Stop.
wasted my
I ain't even
day.
gonna lie. Trump almost got my vote. They text me one more time. I ain't gonna lie.
But that's also, I mean, you know, all the money. I mean, I'm glad that is going to voters. I know people get annoyed by like the third text, but I think that shows that they're trying to meet voters where they are. I think Trump, he dedicated some of his marketing to a third party, so that's why we don't see him maybe as out as much as Kamala. Like she's on the ground, she's doing the ground game, the text messaging, the canvassing. I know it's annoying, but I also think it's necessary because now the conversation, even in this room, is like, oh, what she want? Like at least your name, like her name is in your mouth, and you're able to spark conversations. Or like, yeah, Kamala did this the other day, so I think it's working. It's annoying,
And
but
I think it's
working.
important for the
you
people
get
who
my
are just
vote.
like, oh, I'm not gonna vote at all. I think that kind of puts it back in their brains, like, oh, maybe I should vote for somebody.
Oh yeah,
Because there's a lot of people that just like, I'm not gonna vote because it's not gonna matter, or I'm not gonna vote because both of these people are crazy.
yeah.
That text message came to my phone like Seal when she be yelling at us. Like, we need to know. Are
Right,
you with
and
us
then
or
the
not?
word vote
I'm
is
like,
always in
damn.
capital letters. I'm like, bro.
They say we asked you 6 times if you support VP Harris, but you still didn't complete the poll.
You left me on red. I know you hit me. What's up?
You gotta say, "Girl, I'm voting for you," or "Girl, leave me alone." You gotta respond so they know.
I do be responding.
Because even what the benefit of early voting too is like you get it out the way. You off they voter like record, so now they not gonna text you no more. They may say, "Hey, we in the final stretch. Donate $5," but they
You
know
got
you
80
voted.
million. You don't need my 5.
You know. That
Then
can
they
only
be
get
coming
you
at
so
me.
far. You gotta pay for staff. You paying for these ads that we see every 5 seconds.
Pay me for ads right now.
Sorry,
We gonna
babe.
run some ad coverage.
Okay, they be texting you worse than them promoters
we-
used to
They
do,
gonna
trying
hit
to
you
get you
next
to come
week.
to the club.
Hey,
They're
look.
gonna hit you next week. I think it's so crazy how you still ain't send no bread.
And I'm gonna say, I think it's so crazy how you ain't bought no ads on what's the word yet.
I
Send
guarantee
them
if you
the link.
respond though, they may like all right, he all right. He told us no, he told us yes.
That's
Nah,
funny.
I'm gonna say Hey, you know that's one of the news that worked on their campaign?
Oh, who? Vice President Harris?
Yeah.
Word?
Yeah, better news.
Why y'all be
I made
acting
'em.
so surprised when
Word?
it's like
Yeah.
so many of y'all?
I mean, we everywhere.
But
We
like,
everywhere. Y'all seen
But
we was at the Super Bowl
Y'all
on
know
stage with
everybody
Usher.
is
it's
everywhere,
like a
like-
new from my era, like a new I made. Like he's on their work for their campaign.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
shout out to my
nice.
dog Milton. He down there with
Because
them
some
folks
of
in,
y'all be
in
like,
Georgia,
yeah,
too.
you know the
Shout
capital
out to
from
Dave.
Where did you go to?
It's like you
I
never
went to
been this
SIUT.
man before.
You did that in undergrad?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do undergrad too?
Yeah, I was at Edwardsville,
But it's a new.
Indiana? No.
Illinois.
Illinois, you did, yeah. It's Edwardsville and Indy. I went to Purdue. So
boy, love.
Edwardsville, yeah.
So shout out to Dave, man. He holding it down, man.
Thank you so much for coming. We really
Shout out to
appreciate you
Dave.
pulling
For
up on us.
sure. I
Thank
would
you,
love to do
Ashley.
some post-election stuff. Like, I was consulting a few elected officials, and they were like, how can we fix this? I said, y'all got to stop going to people's churches and people's doors when y'all running for something. I
And
think
go
these
to where the
conversations
people are
need to-
at.
Say that again.
And go to where the people are at. We
People
at
are
church too,
at-
but we be outside.
Outside. Point being, we got to start having these conversations when it's not just an election year, right? Because everybody, to your point, like, you got a certain amount of time, and Kamala had a even limited amount of time. Like, we need to be having these conversations and talking to people before that, because now I'm listening to what you got to say, because you're not texting me 20 times. You're here to have a conversation where I feel like you don't want anything from me but to give information that may help me.
But I think our coaches just gotta want to actually listen to that shit. Like we sit around and complain, but we don't like solutions. Like if you start to giving me a solution how to do something better, like 9 times out of 10, that shit is gonna lead. It's gonna lead right then and there. Like people don't take notes when somebody's saying some real shit, dumb shit. Like it's just like we like to complain. Oh, this. Yo, Shorty just gave you go to the city council meetings. You know what I mean? Find out who your state representative is. Find out an organization that's lobbying to help you pass these agendas.
Because that's where it starts at.
Like
Right.
y'all school system fucked up. Don't they have school board meetings? Like they don't. Like you start giving people solutions, it'd be like too much like right to do the shit right. But we'll complain all day and say some shit fucked up.
I think to that, I think that's right. I think a better way that folks like me can help facilitate conversation and be present is to have conversations like this off of season, but also bring in an issue to the table that matters. What's one off the top of my head?
These
Property
parking
taxes.
tickets.
Okay,
That too.
both of them. I'm gonna use property taxes as a kind of new. I mean, I've had my house for 4 years, probably in November. Oh, next month.
Okay, happy anniversary.
Thanks, y'all. And as a first generation college student, somebody that takes care of my mom, like it was a journey. Like I had to pay off a lot of stuff before I was even eligible, and that journey is something that I try to share with young women and all the good stuff. My point being, this, for example. Property taxes, I have to watch the press conference, but him talking about raising property taxes. Now, I heard it's 4%. For me, that's like no more than, I'll stay in Morgan Park. My property taxes ain't that bad. So it's like $250. For me, that's not bad because of my salary and what I do. But I understand completely if you do not have the finances to oblige that, like that is like 4%, especially on top of you campaigned and said you weren't gonna raise property taxes.
Right.
But bringing that type of talking point to a conversation like this, like, okay, so how can we change it? How can we organize? What groups are out there trying to change legislation that works for me? What are the resources for the Black and brown community that can help people if this thing gets passed? But that helps the complaining, because now we're all complaining. But now at the end of the conversation, because this affects me, because I'm gonna have to look up and look at my property taxes next year and see an extra $250, now we can have the conversation, because now I'm complaining and now it affects me, and now I'm more positioned and enraged and passionate about what's happening, because this literally affects my paycheck. So I think complaining, we're gonna complain. As Black folks, we're gonna do that. We're gonna laugh too, because we cope that way. But how can we blend all of that together so that the outcome is something that, because it affects me, we're actually making movement on?
I think somebody need to have this shit written down. In my experience, I see that's how to get the masses. Like you gotta have like step by step written down.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to be somebody that's gonna take that step. Like if we just had conversations and talk about it, that shit gonna go on deaf ears to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of people just like to say, like they like to complain. And I wish I had an example of some shit that we've been complaining about in Chicago alone and ain't did nothing about it. But we were just talking about the club scene, like how people go spend money at the clubs, but you won't spend money on your politician. Like why? If we paying what is it, like $400 a bottle, $300 a bottle?
Yeah.
If we doing that type of shit, why we not? In my experience, I
When
feel
it's
like
$30, they'll
if you
treat
was
us
to
like
invest in somebody's campaign and like start holding these people, your congressmen and all these people to, you know what I'm saying, to a standard like we're gonna invest in your campaign, or if you don't do what the fuck we gonna do, we gonna pull our dollars and invest in this candidate, then start doing shit.
But why, as a everyday person, should I invest in my elected official?
I think as a group, I think somebody should come together as a collective, and we should
So
do that as a
leaders
group.
to leave that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think, and I'm putting the onus now on politicians, because I think a lot of us would do that. Maybe it ain't $5K at the first hop, but it's definitely like, oh, I got like $10, I got $250, I got $500 on a good day to spare to this. I think it's on the politicians to make sure that y'all know who we are, right? Like
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's twofold. I tend to be objective on both stances, because I do think we have to take more of the onus. And to your point, you need people in the midst of the complainers to say, all right, I'm going to divvy up this half of the work, you do this, we're going to come back together and tell them our solutions, and now we leading the way, for sure. But I think a lot of these elected officials need to be held accountable too, because y'all are making, state reps make what? I think their salaries are $80K now. It ain't a lot of money. But y'all still working on we voted y'all into office. So what are y'all doing? Because y'all go to Springfield January through May. What y'all doing for the rest of the year? Y'all not hosting community events. Y'all doing turning in. They'll do stuff like Recycle Sundays and like all these things that matter to our communities. But like y'all not really doing all the real work. Y'all just there for clout / like, because y'all are getting paid to
say
there.
that you did something.
So I think it's toofold. I think both sides are responsible as a people, though. I think other races deal with this a little bit differently, but as people, I think we have to be responsible for how our future looks like, because Dr. King and all our ancestors were. I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna have to word it in a way that makes sense. I think ending slavery was very harmful for our people. I think slavery was wrong, according to how we took the Bible and used it against us and encouraged slavery. I think it's wrong because nobody should be enslaved. But I also think that was a period in time where we had to work together. Like, people were marching not because they were bored or wanted content. They were marching because it was
Slavery
during
was
that time,
segregation.
we had our own everything.
slavery and segregation.
The whole, yeah.
I think I get what you're saying. It's almost like
I get you.
it's almost like
But Cody has said this before. You said this before.
I think I'm with you with segregation.
Not verbatim. Slavery was bad, but
It's a crazy statement.
But
I get you with segregation.
Okay.
I get you with
because it
segregation.
forced us to create our own everything.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm hear me, because I got some political aspirations ahead. I am not saying slavery is great or good or
No
beneficial.
Kanye.
What I'm saying, what those horrible moments instilled with us is coalition building, is unity, is figuring it out. And I think sometimes because we don't have those apparent like Jim Crow laws in front of us, sometimes it's like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to pay attention to my politicians because it doesn't affect me directly.
Yeah.
And I think some of the worst things that happened to us made us stronger by default, but also willing to do the hard work. So just clearing that, I don't think slavery should be here still. I think it's horrible for anybody. I just think we learned a lot from those days, and because we're not held accountable as people so much anymore sometimes, I think we lose the lessons and the strength that our ancestors fought with.
yeah.
Nah, you cleared
That
that
was
shit
well
up good.
said.
Yeah, I'm
That was well said.
You cleared that shit up real good.
They go cut that
Because
first
we
part.
clipping
She
that
said
up for
slavery
sure.
is good.
Oh, no, we definitely clipping
We
that
clipping
up.
that up for sure.
For
real quick,
sure.
I know you got to get out of here. I know we over time. Cody under the weather, Bree and I, Cree in pain. You say you're a pastor. Would you be adverse to praying us out before you do?
That's crazy. This is so funny.
I ain't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
Right, because
would
I don't
love
know
to.
Ashley Munson, the pastor. I'm very intrigued.
I'm still learning her too. That's crazy.
That's what's up. Come on,
say
let's get
what
it.
you said. That who's
Cody under the weather.
okay.
Bree and I
Please
are
pray
in
for his
pain.
health.
Cree is on one leg.
I'm not in pain. Well, I got a toothache.
We just gonna pray healing overall.
Healing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
brain ache,
financial stability
It
tenfold.
could just be a breath prayer. You ain't even got to go all the way in. I just
Got it. I got it. I
Just
appreciate
throwing
that.
the
I'll be
finances
honored too.
tenfold.
I'll be honored too.
Thank
Okay. Lord, we love you. We thank you for each and every individual that's present in this room. God, I thank you for each individual life and their families and their legacies and their purpose on this earth. I ask that you bless anybody that is in pain, any ailment, any bone, any ligament that needs to go back into its proper place. Father, I ask that you bless them where their body comes back into cohesion with the standard that you have placed for them. I thank you that every person that has dedicated time to spread news, to spread insight, to have difficult conversations that lead to enlightenment, God, I ask you to show them the conversations and the content and the way that they should take. I thank you that this labor is not in vain, and that listeners are being blessed, and that because of their stewardship over this thing to spread information and enlightenment, Father, that you bless their careers, that you take care of their finances, and that you show them more ways to be prosperous in the earth, and that you show them ways that they can benefit from this unity and from this collaboration. I thank you for the purpose that is ordained for this podcast. I thank you that this is just the beginning of what is going to be birthed from this, and I ask that you show them more streams of income, show them the way and connections and collaborations and sponsorships so they can continue to spread news and information. Now, God, I ask that this year, the next 60 days specifically, that you speak to these individuals in this room and that you give them tools and instructions and the way that they should take so that 2025, regardless of who's president, is a prosperous year for them, that is a safe year for them, that is a healing year for them, and that their families are blessed because of their stewardship over the thing that you have given them. And God, we love you and we thank you for life, health, and strength. In Jesus' name, I pray.
In
Amen.
Jesus' name, amen.
Man, you know that.
We needed that, Ashley. Thank you.
That sponsorship line hit home.
Okay.
That hit home.
She said them 60 days.
Now
Come
she gonna pass
on.
that plate around for the building fund real quick.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. This is good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Would love to come back next year at some point just to chop it up and even talk about like stuff happening specifically in Chicago, right? Because I don't think
Yeah, because we be talking about it, but then we end up joking about it, and it ain't always funny.
I'm inappropriate with my humor, so I'll probably laugh.
We
too.
probably got the same
Yeah,
humor.
it's
Yeah.
pretty bad. And I'm working on it. But I think laughing is most times okay as long as we come to a solution.
Yeah.
And find whether give people jobs to do and like follow up. So for sure.
No, this is dope. We're gonna do this more often. We gotta figure that. We gotta figure it out.
We gotta
Yeah,
figure
let me know.
something
I'm here
out.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
for the most part.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashley. Y'all
Appreciate
give it up.
And action.
All right. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Shout out to McDonald's for giving out the chicken Big Macs. I'm about to do a review.
Oh, so it's giving like Mac chicken at the bottom and then like a chicken nugget on the top.
Big Mac chicken sandwich.
I don't know how to bite this thing. Mac sauce is on point. You can't never go wrong with Mac sauce.
It's the Big Mac sauce for sure.
This is actually really decent, I ain't gonna lie.
I'll give the chicken Big Mac, I give it an 8 out of 10.
A 9.5 for sure. I'll give it a
Good 9.5. This is actually really good.
This is amazing. I need 2 more. Can I have yours?
Yeah,
And action.
it's going down.
ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's going down.
Shout out to McDonald's for giving out the chicken.
Shot town, let's go. Whether it's snow on the ground or super sunny, you know we all on the grind to get some money. We outside the night, no looking bummy. It's a vibe, alright. And what's funny, I'm saying, shot town. Yeah, throw your hands in the air. Shot town. Yo. Hey Joe, this for the ladies that's cute in 2 sections. Grown and sexy enough for 2-stepping. A few questions, y'all, like who's next then? Knowledge and real. Yeah. It's going down. It's going down. Shot town, let's go.
Thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily facts or an indicting nature to any party. We hope you're entertained. Thanks for watching.
start. It been like that the whole time. You might as well start there. Let's start there. What did J-Man be saying? Let's start there. Let's start there. Shaq talk about Angel Reese, them little shorts. It hit different when your uncle get on the podcast talk about your little shorts.
It do hit different.
Why they put no women on to come back from the break? I don't want to be the first one talking about this.
It do hit different.
It hit different when those shorts little and them cheeks out.
And you know what
and you try
kind of
to
threw
dunk a
me off?
basketball.
I tried to what?
I said it hit different when the cheeks out when you try to dunk the basketball.
I've never dunked a basketball with my cheeks out, so I personally would not know. But
I just had a Shaq moment.
With the situation, Shaq went on Angel Reese podcast, and in true Shaq fashion, being Shaq, he said whatever came to his mind. And it started with, if I'm saying this correct, it started with him saying how the WNBA could be more lucrative.
Right.
How they can make more money, what they need to do. And I will contest that Cody did say if the games were more entertaining, more people would come, y'all get more exposure, better marketing, that leads to more money. Shaq was on his way to saying that. Instead, he looked at Angel Reese and basically told her, literally verbatim, if you had them shorts on that you had on that while and now and you dunk your nose, the WNBA will make more money. In between him saying that, she said, okay, that's enough. Okay, now, we don't got to do this.
He kept saying it.
And he proceeded to say it as an uncle would do. So he got backlash for that. People were saying it was very creepy. People were saying they were cringing. People were saying that they could tell that Angel Reese was very uncomfortable. I'm the only woman in the room. Well, I'm not the only woman in the room. I'm the only woman on the mic. But I would like to know y'all perspective as guys before I talk. Because I don't want to say what I have to say and then y'all kind of be like, well, let me save face a little bit. But I would really love y'all rawest thoughts on this situation. Being a black man born into a black community with black uncles that do black people things. What do y'all think?
Shaq a nasty ass nigga. Straight like that. He nasty as hell for that, man. Personally, I don't know. I can't justify that. I can't justify him saying that. I don't know. Like, I don't care how much you trying to like big up and trying to make the league be more profitable. I don't think it's gonna be profitable with some ass cheeks hanging out. Like, I'm not really.
Definitely be practical. Ass cheeks hanging out.
I don't know. Like, if we talking
would.
basketball, if we talking basketball, I want to see them play basketball. I don't want to see her ass cheeks hanging out, but she trying to play ball.
Bro,
That's
imagine, because at one point, the NBA used to wear the smallest shorts. And I know women were going crazy for legs at the time. But just imagine,
Well, a lot of the women in the WNBA is like masculine looking. I don't think
some of
I don't know if
them,
that's
they're
gonna
not masculine looking. It's crazy.
the best WNBA players aren't like wearing like makeup. Like,
No, I'm not
I hate
saying.
to say, Angel Reese be out there full makeup, blush, like eyelashes and all
But
that.
it's also a lot of them that come out like that too.
I know, but like
Yeah.
them, they don't be good.
Let me ask you a question.
No, give me your answer first before you start asking questions.
So one, he was out of pocket for saying it. It got taken out of context. He obviously don't care. He was on TV last night, didn't mention nothing about it. Two things. Two things. I'm trying to be real careful about this.
Nah, say what you gotta say.
So the premise of what he was talking about was sexualizing women in the WNBA to garner more ratings. The ratings have never been better this year. They actually were the best since they've come into existence. So him saying that the ratings are what they are without them being sexualized is wrong. On the other hand, how many products, how many businesses, how many lucrative deals is Shaq a part of?
A lot.
Far too many, right? Some stuff that we don't even know about. I just found out that he was one of the initial investors in the ring light. I didn't even know that.
Bro, he got he's like the face of like some inkjet printer company.
So check it out. When somebody that is a master marketer like that is giving you what should be sound marketing advice, did he come off as like the freaky uncle that you should leave in the closet that shouldn't have said that? Probably so. He probably shouldn't have had that type of reaction, but he know what he's talking about. The proof is in the pudding. Like, he has made money time after time after time.
Not about showing his cheeks and his wilding out shorts.
Maybe not yet, but Shaq done some wild stuff. Shaq done been in towels DJing. Shaq done, it's stories about Shaq in the locker room. And not that that's the point of what I'm saying. It's, if he's giving Angel Reese advice on becoming a better businesswoman, that's his mentee. They've been tight since almost over a year. They go back to LSU. Like, I watched the whole episode. They talked about a bunch of different things. There were a bunch of different instances where he was kind of not reading the room. He was trying to put his homie off on Angel the whole episode, trying to line him up and set them up. He was talking about how he's never going to be married again because of how horrible of a man or husband he was. When it got to that topic, I thought they took it out until he said it at the end. It's hard. It's hard for me to say that. He should have said it on camera. I'll just put it like that. But in terms of that marketing advice, like, it's hard to turn that. He had a product sitting right there in the shot when he's talking to Shakalicious gummy bears or something. So, like, when somebody talking money, you almost got to listen to him. So I feel Angel for, like, staying poised in that instance. But at the same time, like, you can't say that, bro. You can't say that. Now, the other part of that is, Bree, in terms of...
Here we go.
The notion that women need to be sexualized in the NBA. I mean, in the WNBA. How many times do we come in here and we ask you about the Mavericks, and the way you talk about Kyrie is what?
You will not bring my relationship with Kyrie Irving into this. That's what you're not going to do. Let's stop there. That's what you're not going to do. Nah.
I mean, do we talk about him like how great a handles he have, how many points he had in the finals? Like, your reaction to Kyrie is not as drastic as what Shaq said to Angel, but are you tuning in to watch the NBA because Kyrie is one of the top 10 generational athletes of our time?
I will move to
Or
Dallas
is it
right
that
now.
we got to go back to these past episodes and pull up what it is that you said about him?
And I always stop myself because what we got, we keep it private.
Gotcha.
That's real. That's a real one right
But
there.
I feel you though. I feel like there's a tint of sexualization in literally everything.
Yeah, most of the women,
almost everything.
Most of the
Not
women
things
that I
dealing
know,
with kids. Let's stop there. No, I ain't talking about that. But
most of the women that I know that say that they sports fans, some of them are purists, and some of them is like, who is that?
But
How much he make?
But there's
Oh,
a
he look
difference
good.
from me saying I just like the way he look and the way he present himself and the things he stand for, and me saying I wish his shorts was a little bit shorter
Like, see that
so that I could see.
So are we
What's going on?
are we focusing on how he said it, or are we focusing on the message he was trying to give across?
I think we touching on a little bit of both. I
touching
feel
on
like
both.
he's touching on both.
So we want to say how he said it. Of course, it came off creepy, but what he was trying to tell that girl was not wrong.
What do you think he was trying to tell her?
He was trying to tell her if the league was more entertaining, more people would watch. And also he was saying, like, yo, for example, if y'all wear little shorts, which y'all cheat them same shorts. You see how viral the Wildin' Out shorts went along?
That's the other part of the conversation we not talking about.
That's the Wildin' Out shorts when you were at outside, right? So imagine if we was in a league like y'all just talked about back in the 60s and the 70s when the NBA was playing to wear the small shorts.
Short shorts, yeah.
If that was a thing, right? Track players, when you were in track, you wore small shorts, right? So what if the WNBA players, if they were small shorts, some of them who be thick, and them cheeks be hanging out a little bit, yo, motherfuckers will be watching the games more.
They got the BBBL league. Have y'all seen that?
I've seen that.
It's a BBL basketball
And I-
league.
Yeah.
That's some freaky shit.
So they
though.
have
But
a
it
market for
also-
that.
Freaky shit, but
It also doesn't make it
That's not normal.
child friendly.
This is the
it's
same-
not. It doesn't
Okay.
make it a family
This is a role
thing
model.
anymore. You know, it doesn't make me want to say Angel Reese should come to my school and talk to my kindergartners. No, like my don't want my child watching
That's a
cheeks
di- that's a
going
di-
up.
that's a
no,
different
this the
component.
same thing. If you putting the cheeks out on the court, I don't want my child watching cheeks out on the court.
that's the
it.
same thing with saying I don't want my child doing gymnastics, but the gymnastic cheeks be out there. That's the same thing saying I don't want my child.
not.
No, it is. No, Those gymnastics girl things, cheeks be hanging out.
No,
it's not.
They
no,
playing
no, no, no.
volleyball. They
Volleyball players.
They cheeks be hanging out.
cooking.
Chill
You
out.
cooking.
You
Chill
talking about
out.
the outfits they
Chill
wear?
out.
I'm talking
Because
Shaq specifically said if you wore them little shorts
For
I'd
that
watch-
reason.
For that reason.
That's
They-
what I
volleyball
feel.
players aren't wearing little shorts so that people can watch the games.
and
'Cause people don't
gymnastic
watch
players, they
volleyball.
wear tights.
People don't watch track. Like if you watch people that watch track are people that like run track and ran track. Like you're not watching track to look at some ass.
You tripping.
Tripping. You tripping.
You bugging.
You bugging.
There is a large majority of
bugging.
people
Y'all-
that watch track.
Y'all
For
not gonna make it
the
sound like
actual-
Shaq
Just
on
for
here.
some ass?
I see what you're saying.
Everybody
but
watches
also-
volleyball during the Olympics for cheeks.
And track.
Well, that's the
I
first
don't,
thing
I
people
don't know,
say.
Bree. Like we living in a world where
Not
it's-
everybody,
We
but
living
no.
in a world where it's schools that have Sexy Red coming and talking to their kids.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
And back in the day, I said that I would be fine with Sexy Red coming to my child's school. I said that.
But she not
also-
for the kids either, per se.
But she not coming with her ass cheeks out.
I don't think
She had on her jeans, but I feel like Sexy Red is just it's a success story. She made it out.
Hey,
Talk to the kids
man.
about making it out. My thing was, I personally, although I was a little bit like, I mean, just as a woman, it's your instinct to get creeped out every time a man does that. Like, especially when it's like your mentor, you know. But I don't even know if Angel Reese was really creeped out. But in my perspective, if I had a mentor who was a man and he said something like that to me, if it was his first time saying that, it's like a whole shift in our relationship.
Yeah. I feel
Now that's just how I feel. But also on another stance, I feel like, don't shake your head at me. Also on another, Cody, you ain't never told me to.
I've never told you to do nothing like that.
Thank
right?
you. Period. So
But,
also,
go ahead.
let me in another stance. Shaq is in that realm where he could, I don't want to say whatever, but he not worried about backlash.
It's like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley say whatever he want to say.
Just
on
like
TV
how
too.
y'all say Cam do the same, come bring it
Cam
up
too.
till the ends of the world. Y'all take up for Cam, Kevin Samuels, and Joe Budden. And now Shaq can't do no wrong. Okay? So I feel like Shaq said it on purpose because he knew people was going to click it. He knew it was going to come off creepy. He knew it was going to come off as everybody want to put this on their blog. Everybody want to post this. Everybody want to write an article. Everybody want to talk about it on their podcast. I feel like he did that on purpose.
He also said in the interview, like, if anybody that's watching this thinks that I'm checking for Angel Reese, first of all, like, Shaq track record in terms of who he was back in his prime is,
And he like little women.
He do.
but for him, he said, if anybody in here or anybody watching this think that I'm trying to hit on Angel Reese or I'm trying to get at Angel Reese, like, you don't know me and y'all don't know the situation. So it's kind of like he left himself a little bit of an out, but at the end of the day, my thing is you just got to read the room. Even if that is how you feel, even if you're trying to be funny, you can't say that on camera. She
I
got a
don't
big
think he cared.
platform.
I really don't think he cared.
So
I think he did it to catapult.
So I agree
Shaq
with
don't
Bree.
want Angel
I
Reese,
agree with Bree. All I just want to know is, are we talking about what he said or the impact of what he said? Not the impact, but what the. It's like, okay, we know what he said was creepy, right? At that present moment, if it came off creepy, right?
We talk about what he said, why he said it.
But if you're thinking about
the
it, if you're
message.
thinking about the actual like the whole logic behind what he was saying was, you can't say he was wrong.
That's the stance that I'm playing devil's advocate
You
in that
sick for
regard.
real. Because you know you just said that exact same thing like 5 minutes ago.
What?
We ain't really answer it. That's why he asked again. I think it's what he said, and where he said it at. I think that's the third part of it that we're not talking about. Had he said that off camera, like, obviously we wouldn't be talking about it, but who's to say if Angel would have been uncomfortable or not? She might have just brushed it off as a joke, but because it was said on camera on her platform, we clipping it up, we talking about it, we bringing it up in conversation.
But I think the biggest thing was there was a visual behind it. He specifically said if you wore them wild and out shorts, so now people already know they can put. There's no room for imagination. They know exactly what he's talking
Damn, my
about.
son sound like my brother, but we gotta quit being so damn sensitive.
I ain't gonna never say that, but you're right.
We gotta quit being so damn sensitive. This is a podcast between a mentee and a mentor. Our purpose is to entertain. The purpose of a podcast to have raw conversation. We're having raw conversation. I'm giving you like Chris said, I'm giving you my insight on how I feel about marketing or how I feel about the game. This is my raw thoughts of insight. This is a podcast. This is what we doing. So we're gonna be uncomfortable about having these conversations. We're gonna be uncomfortable if we're gonna blow shit out of proportion. I'm gonna stop just doing it. And then if I stop doing it, now it's like, okay, you gatekeeping information or you not fucking with me. It's no, you gotta stop being sensitive. Like, because just being real. That was a conversation that we got on the mic that talked about you. He just did that. Now, if he was hitting her up on the phone and just calling them like, yeah, you know them little shorts that you had on Wildin' Out, them motherfuckers was man, you should wear them in the game. That might be a little different. I'll be looking like, okay, what you want, G? Like, that's it. But we're having a conversation in the podcast. We like, this is entertainment. We got cameras on. We want raw conversation. You're assigned to me, like Bree just said earlier. We need these clicks. We need this shit to go viral. We making money. You know what I mean?
That's the other part. How do you feel about the notion that people are saying it's a potential HR violation because she's under Reebok, just got a new shoe? Shaq and AI are the president and vice presidents of Reebok.
Her podcast is signing him too.
Playmaker? And
yeah, he signed. He's like,
right. So all of that is like, I don't know how to feel because this is my mentor, but it's also my boss talking to me like that.
I get that, but it's like, who gonna file a complaint?
I gotta quit being so sensitive about everything.
Who gonna file a complaint against Shaq?
This
man, say what he said to
At 2020, 24, I want the men and women dynamic to really just understand that we gotta quit being so sensitive about everything. If it's not a direct shot of saying like, yo, I'm gonna do this to you, or I want to do this, I think we gotta understand, because we sit here as a man. I sit here and listen to. I ain't gonna say no names, but some of our team members say some wild shit on a daily basis.
You don't think you say nothing wild either?
I do say stuff wild, but I police myself a lot more than the women on our staff sometimes say some wild shit about things they about to do, things that happen to them, what they about to go do, stuff like that. It be a lot of wild shit that y'all say and y'all talk about on a daily basis. But as adults, we understand it's just a free thought, right? But soon as if Chris was to say something like that, as soon as you turn your nose like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do we like? It has to be some type of equal playing field. You can't pick and choose when some shit is offensive. You know what I mean? And especially if he's not directing it towards you. If we're just in conversation, just talking. Like, that's all that was. Just us talking with a mic on.
But he did direct that towards Angel.
He mentioned the other W players too, though.
With the W players, the mics on. If I was to say, Bree, you such and such, and this is just an example, right? If I was coming to you and be like, Bree, you thick as ever today, girl. You know what I'll do to you if you had on them little shorts, That's fucking offensive. That's rapey. That's creepy. But if I say like, Bree, you know how when you take your little pictures and you have the such and such on and you be like, you tell me you get an engagement, maybe when you do your thing, you should do it like that. If that creepy, or that just like, yo, we talking to it just.
That's different, but that's what I'm saying is the way that you say. But I still stand by the stance that he did it on purpose.
Hey man,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not, but I also believe that you can't tell somebody when not to get offended.
And that goes what I'm saying is that area right there. We throw that in there all the time.
But because everybody is entitled to feel however they want to feel. But my thing is what comes after that. Like, if that person is offended, just take them, talk to them. Cool, this is not what I meant. I apologize. Boom. If that person is not offended, cool. Y'all understand the dynamic that y'all have. Like, and I've always said, like, if I offend somebody, if I say something wrong, let me know. I'm cool with apologizing for it because clearly I didn't read the room. People don't read the room. People make mistakes every day of their life. This situation, I think, was intentional. And personally, I don't think it didn't come off that it came off on camera that Angel was a little bit like, don't do too much because she probably already know how her uncle is type thing. But I don't think that she was too offended by it. But I think the audience was offended by it for her. That's what the issue
she probably was conscious of that too.
Yeah, that's what the issue came in at.
Chill. There's money on the line. There's people watching.
That's what the issue came in at because she already know how her uncle is. But when it comes to those situations, I don't think people have to not be too sensitive. You can be yourself, 1,000% be yourself. But if an offense happens, make sure you apologize for the words that you did.
So, I'm gonna stand on what I'm saying is people that's reacting to that shit need to stop being so sensitive. And the solution to what you just said before you even get to apologizing, that's why they have HR and code of conduct in place in the workplace, so you know not to do this or say this when you get there, right? When you're on a podcast, and most podcasts have disclosures before they come on. These are raw, just thoughts, like we just saying, whatever, right? So no, like you can't let him cook, because he's not cooking towards her. He's not saying nothing disrespectful towards her. Like this is what he want to do to her. That would have been creepy. He giving his raw thoughts on the marketing thing. Now the people that overreacting to that shit, y'all being serious because y'all not even looking at it like that. Y'all think he trying to come over this, like y'all overreacting to the shit. And I see people say and do way worse in real time.
Because people do it for clicks and bait and
So
all
that just be my issue when I say people are being those sensitive. Because I literally watch people say and do way worse in real time to people that they know more than what he just said to that young lady on that show.
I feel that. Well, speaking of raw thoughts, everybody saw D-Wade raw thoughts with that statue was unveiled.
That picture looked more like Shaq. The statue looked like Shaq instead of D-Wade.
Why do we not have a good statue maker for the NBA teams? Who make the statues? That's who we need to bring to the forefront.
We need to go get who did Mount Rushmore and all them other slave drivers that they don't sort of them things look just like them. In South Carolina and Georgia, they had the spin image, dimples, all of that. They would need to go get them, dig them up. Why they do D-Wade like that, bro?
D-Wade approved that shit, so he approved it.
He probably was like, man, I'm tired of working through this anyway, so just go ahead and put it up, man.
Nah, the funniest shit though is him and his son looking at each other like they know that's some bullshit.
Like, bro.
There's a lot of black conversation going on in that eye contact. For
He
real.
looked at him
It was giving Chicago. I loved it.
Shout out to D-Wade though, man, for him to be the first one at that building to get a statue. Right? They called it Wade County out there for the longest of time.
It is Wade County though, right?
I thought it was Dade County.
It's Dade County, but they nicknamed it Wade County because he came out there.
I swear I thought it was Miami Wade County.
I actually thought the statue looked more like Bron, for real.
They say it looked like Morpheus.
Yeah, it looked like Morris Fishburne.
You want to get into Smirk?
Yeah, before we get up out of here, free Smirk, man. Lil Durk was picked up by the U.S. Marshals a couple days after his concert here in Chicago. A couple other OTF members were arrested as well. He had a hearing a couple days ago. His daddy was at.
Yeah, India was out there too.
Yeah. So the story is OTF Jam
Put Durk in the jam.
put Durk in the jam. 50 Cent said he told Durk to watch them. So apparently OTF Jam been wearing a wire for a couple years. There is videos of OTF Jam saying how Durk gave him $50K when he got out of jail, saying how Durk has taken care of him, how he could never say nothing wrong about Durk, but ended up wearing a wire to persecute Durk with the feds. Yeah, and this is all stemming from the incident. Well, he's charged with murder for hire with the Quando Rondo incident, trying to slide on Vine, as the internet was trying to make him do.
Slide for Vine.
Slide for Vine, as the internet was trying to make him do, and allegedly murdered. Well, it was his cousin, Quando cousin got murdered.
Yeah, no, yes, Lil Pub.
Yeah, Lil Pub in Florida.
No, it was in
LA.
It was in LA.
And I'm getting this all wrong.
No, he got killed in LA, I think.
I thought he got killed in Florida.
I feel LA.
Durk got picked up in. Chop all this up. Durk got picked up in Florida.
Quando's cousin got killed in LA.
Durk got picked up in Florida though.
Durk got picked up in Florida. That's
They
what.
said he had a bunch of plane tickets to a bunch of different
to Italy, to
countries.
Switzerland. I think it was somewhere else.
Yeah, and he
Dubai.
was supposed to, and he was actually trying to go to Italy when they ended up picking him up.
They ended up scooping him.
Damn, Durk, I wish you would have made it out.
Damn.
So for the first part of this, I want to open up the floor for is do we feel like Durk? Do we feel like he tweaked? What's our raw thought? Do we feel like he tweaked? He's innocent to proven guilty.
He is innocent until proven
sure.
guilty. It's free Durk, free Smirk. It's just, I just hate it for hip hop in general. Like, it's just, it just makes you think about like everything that's going on with hip hop and the people that are like at the top, like at the top ranking right now, are like coming down for so many different. Like even Chris Brown got this documentary out now, and it's just like it's very disappointing. I don't really have any thoughts on what exactly happened because I mean I can't make up no scenarios in my head because I wasn't there. But it's just disappointing, man. Like I feel like Dirt tweet, like you gotta really watch the people that you have around you, for real. But then sometimes it's like, how do you even know? Cause you expect to be helping out. You expect to help all your homies. You expect like I did all this. I've grown. I'm trying to change my life around. I done got my Muslim name and everything, and I'm giving back to the community. I'm helping, and even just for the jam, nigga. Like you see, he doing all this, and you still want to put him in some shit. Is crazy to me.
Wait, Bree, I gotta give you some flack.
What they say? What? Go ahead.
Because his friend could be wearing a wire. He a snitch, all that. But also, we got to take Dirk in accountability for giving people this opportunity or like telling people like, hey, we don't know if it's true or not.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, to go put a hit out on somebody and to go kill somebody.
That's why I said I can't speak on that part.
We was
I
just
don't
talking
know
about,
what
we
actually
was just
happened.
talking about bro last week, right? We literally just were touching on this conversation about him being at the top, right? Representing Chicago, kind of carrying the flag. What bothers me and has bothered me about this situation and situations prior to this, a lot of times the pressure that's brought on by onlookers or spectators, this shit is not real to them. They watching
It's
TV.
entertainment.
It's entertainment to them. So when they say, or they, again, or allegedly, if they're pressuring Dirk to respond and say, Slap Avon, you ain't real, Slap Avon, that's a trap. Yeah. If you give into that impulse and you doing this because you got so many voices attacking you or saying you not this, you not that, you not loyal, you not, bro, that's entertainment. That's fish food for people that when something like this happens, when you get jammed up, they're gonna forget about you. They're not gonna support you. It's almost like a video game to them. They're gonna reset it and wait for the next hot, young, enterprising, entrepreneurial, successful person to come on so they can do it to them all over again. You feel me? It's too many corrupt media entities out there. I ain't gonna get them no shine on our platform, but like they eat this up. They can't wait for stuff like this to come across their Twitter or across a headline so that they can go in and make a video and talk about it and capitalize off of it. Meanwhile, this man's life is in the hands of the judicial system. Yeah.
Yes, Cody.
What do y'all say to it not being the internet trolls or people in the comments fueling this? What about it just being tied to the streets, and we have certain different street codes that say like, yo, you take out, if you know the person that took out the crew or the people that took out your homie, and they still moving around, you have to go do something about it.
Yeah, because I don't fully believe it was the internet. If this happened, I don't fully believe it was the internet influence, because if that's the case, we could seen Dirk do a whole lot of other stuff because the internet influenced it. Like, the internet been coming at Dirk for years. Like,
I don't think it's necessarily just the internet. I just think it's that egotistical, like, you ain't real, you ain't from this area. It's all of it. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the internet. It can just come from, like you said, his man's had a wire on him for a couple of years, right? The pressure to continue to take care of them, to put them on and be successful. It's a lot that comes with being at the top. So if that's how he really feel, he had to retaliate, get his lick back, whatever. We put too much emphasis and too much worth in the lick back, right? It's always an eye for an eye. Like, you can't finesse me. You can't get over on me. If one of yours do something to mine and one of mine got to do something to one of yours, at some point we got to get off that. We got to get off that because we losing our people to it. Just to the notion of like, I ain't finna be no sucker. I ain't finna be out here somebody saying that they finessed me or somebody played me. I can't have that. Bro, let it go. If you can. I'm not in the business of telling no grown man or woman what they should do with their life. But this ain't worth it. He facing real time if he get jammed up for this. You know what I'm saying? He got kids.
98.
He got a community that look up to him and love him. All for what? For a lick back? It ain't worth it, bro.
I feel sorry for them kids.
the kids is like you gotta feel sorry for the kids. You gotta feel sorry for India. You gotta feel sorry for the family, and even just all the OTF members that's involved and just have just connections with it because you have this one guy that was pretty much feeding a lot of people, elevating a lot of people's careers, giving a lot
Taking
of
care of a lot of families.
taking care of a lot of families. But on the flip side of that, it's still the streets. Like we gotta stop. We gotta stop thinking that these are artists are just artists. These are men. These are real street guys, gang bangers, gang members that's just got money now. You know, so they gonna still retaliate and move how they move. Now they just got money.
And a lot of times it's hard to get out of that life. It's really hard to, and I feel like people be like, oh, well, he a rapper now, he just did that. Like, no, it's really hard to get out of that.
Yeah,
because you still have to take care of people that's still in that.
And it's like, we gotta stop. So on one end, I'd be like, yo, and like I said, it's allegedly, right? So like, look, you just lost your brother. You know what I mean? You lost your artist. You know, you lost your cousin. You lost your cousin. You lost two of your cousins. One was a rapper and Newski, and you lost your manager. You first started this in Chino. Like, so you lose different people, right? Then on top of that, people ran into your house. You know what I mean? You had a shootout with you and your girl. Like, your girl had to shoot at people. So you beat the murder case or the attempt case in Atlanta. Like, y'all beat that case in Atlanta. I feel like it's so many instances where God tried to bless this man, you know, and move him out the way and not put him down, that should have been a sign for him to just move away from the streets. And I think if he would have did that, I don't think no one would have held that against Dirk, because you survived a lot. Your daddy just came home from doing 20. Your daddy just came home from doing 20 years in the feds. Like you overcame so much. You did all this, like say, without a dad. And what he was locked up for was some of the same shit that you out here doing. You just lost your, like, you losing so much, but you overcame so much. You just won a Grammy. You up 60, 70 million right now. Like, so I don't think nobody would have held it against Dirk if Dirk would have chose another way.
So you think he waited too late to choose another boy?
I feel like, I don't think he waited too late. I feel like just by knowing that type of lifestyle and that culture, he's the first generation, like Ashley said, first generation college student. He's the first generation person to make it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of this shit, it's like he learning in real time how to move. Like having a conversation with 50 Cent is new, but like in New York got a whole history of motherfuckers in the streets making it out, making money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Getting up out the game, doing little shit. In Chicago, do we really got that?
No.
They got a pipeline.
They got a pipeline. Atlanta got a pipeline. Like they could, OG can pull somebody to the side and be like, young boy, this is how you move. You know, like Chicago motherfuckers can't even live in Chicago.
It's that jealousy.
Same thing if you really want to make the comparison, right?
Yeah, like this is their first time really coming from the streets, coming from the gutter, and having money. They learn how to be men, young men. You gotta think about it. These people are growing up in front of our eyes. They learn how to be young men in front of the world. They're making their mistakes in front of the world. They got this burden of not just their family, but they block, their neighborhood, their city in front of them. You know, pride is one thing. So it's like, I get it. Like, yo, get up out the way, get out the gym, and, you know what I mean, go to Colorado or, you know what I mean, go to Arizona or somewhere, start a family and be out the mix and just travel when we do shows. I get that logic. I also understand, like, yo, this is all I know.
It's still in you. It stays in you. Yeah.
So as I'm progressing, y'all seeing me progress, but it's still the day-to-day thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still eat certain foods the way I eat the same certain foods. Like, I'm going to still eat Flamin' House with cheese, even though, you know, I just won a Grammy and I was just in Italy with fucking Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that's going to be still a 6-piece of Harold's Chicken is always going to smack to me at 40 or 50, no matter what my palate is, you know? Because that's in me. So I get that part of him too. So it's like, thoughts and prayers to everybody involved. It's just sad to see that, like, right after we just had the Dirk Day, the birthday bash, it was like, yo, everybody come out to support this dude. It brought the city to, like, new heights, and it's like something to look forward to. And that shit happened right after. And now when we talk about hip hop in general, like, I don't think I'm so much on focusing on rap, the overall rap game, because that's a conversation in itself as far as, like, are these labels are going to invest or give money to these young men anymore, because all of them dying or they going to jail. But it's also more so just on Chicago, because it's like, this is the product we keep putting out here. Like when he did that shit on that screen with all them motherfuckers that was dead, but just a lot of them was rappers. This is a product of what we putting out here. So how long is we gonna keep supporting this type shit?
Agree. I'm with you.
So free Smirk, man. You know.
Why you laughing?
I ain't laugh.
Don't you laugh at that?
I ain't laugh. What you mean?
You don't think Smirk should be free?
Here you go. Put him in the jam. Don't do that to my nephew.
Smirk gonna have some hard time getting out of that jam.
So the YSL trial is like in the
Pun intended.
Proud of you.
The YSL trial is
I
in the
just
midst
don't
of
wish
some
jail.
stuff.
You can't wish jail on nobody. So I'm always say
wish jail on nobody.
I say free my ops. Like if I had ops, I say free my. Like I wouldn't wish
I don't know
prison.
if that ever come out my mouth.
Chris,
But
let me ask you this, bro. The YSL trial is kind of coming to winding down. One of the defendants took a plea yesterday about in regards to RICO. I guess the alleged charge for Dirk is murder for hire under the RICO statute. They got Puff getting ready to be lined up on the RICO statute. Do you feel like the results of those other cases involving these high-profile entertainers is going to have an effect on Dirk? Because it's going to set a precedent how they're going to do people that violate this offense. Do you think it's going to have an effect on them?
I think to an extent, yeah. Like I think they're looking at them as, you this high-profile celebrity. Like we gonna treat you exactly black celebrity too at that. And all right. First of all, is it only like black people that get like RICO charges? Black celebrities get RICO charges.
at this,
So you
in this climate,
where it came from, right? It came from the mob.
yeah.
So the mob was the first one. The
In
mob.
today's climate,
Today's climate is like only black people getting RICO
Cause
charges.
we the only one doing gang shit.
it's trendy. Unfortunately, it's a trendy thing.
So I think definitely, with Thug case, I think it's different because I think it's so much like lack of information that they have on him that they can't really, like, people taking back statements and then like people not talking and then like the judges talking to the witnesses on the side. They had so much going on in their case that Thug trial this is gonna be a mistrial.
That's what I mean by it, though. Because it's taking so long for it to air out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the people that are trying to take down these entertainers by saying we learn from that. We're not finna be 150, 200 days in trying somebody, getting somebody to flip. We're gonna nip this in the bud because we indicted you or we put charges on you and we want you booked. So that's why I'm asking, like, do you feel
I think now they probably gonna try to get a lot more evidence on people. Like
before they get started.
Like with Diddy, they got all that evidence. Like they got all evidence on Diddy.
Cause
like,
Diddy's a federal case though.
For real.
Puff is a federal case.
Dirk is a federal case. Dirk is
Real cases against
They
you.
don't
the
come
thug
faking
shit. The
about it.
thug shit is a state RICO.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a federal case.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
we talked about that.
We talked about that yesterday.
So they, like I said, they already got messages of that he was sending to his people. Like, yeah, don't book nothing in my name. Like, don't book no flights in my name. Don't book no hotels in my name. No cars, all that.
And they did this shit anyway.
They did it anyway.
So do y'all think
Stupid ass criminals
that
nowadays.
allegedly, because we don't even know if this even happened,
Dumbass criminal.
but do y'all think it was part of them setting him up? It could have been part of them setting him up.
They talking
who is
on
homies?
iPhones. They talking about go to FaceTime. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, like they knew what to do.
This is my thing, right? That's why I don't understand like these new, especially Chicago people, because my one homie used to tell me this. I used to be like, bro, because he used to post his gun all the time on like his stories and on his Snapchat and all that. His
you big
Facebook.
gonna get caught.
And I was like, bro, stop posting your guns on the internet, bro. Like, like police can see that shit. He like, no, they can't, bro. Like, I got my page private. I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, bro, if they want to get videos of you doing that, all they gotta do is add Snapchat. It's not that hard. Like, just stop doing it, because all the stuff that you do on your phone is recorded somewhere and it's put and you don't have the stuff that you think you have that you think is yours is not yours.
Bro,
Everything on your phone isn't yours.
Bro,
You don't
Unless you got
have
them
anything on your
iPhones, because iPhone's not opening up for nobody.
Bro, when Ashley was here, we just got through joking about Kamala Harris having your phone number, sending you stuff. How you think they got that?
Okay,
You
because I
can't even
didn't
trace
give
it.
it.
So if they can get in your phone with random text
And they be
messages
texting
about
me
that,
like they my
what else
mama.
can they
They
get
like,
out
hey,
of your phone?
Brenda.
everything.
They can get
out of your
everything.
phone.
They know where you at. You feel me?
Especially if you bring your phone around. You gonna get crowned with your phone.
They got your location. They got you. You booked. So it's unfortunate, bro, because he's right there.
Yeah,
he's right there.
I think he was at his. I think it was at his peak. Dirk was at his peak.
We was about to see it in real time.
Like he was doing his big.
We was about to see the movie.
Turning his life around. He was switching it up, working with different artists, trying to bring the city together. And like I said, it's unfortunate to see him at such a peak get brought down so low.
I just hate it for hip hop altogether. Metro Boomin got a sexual allegation against him. So, and we just gotta do better. Like how you say people too sensitive. In this situation, y'all gotta watch out for who y'all having sex with, doing y'all sexual actions with. If that lady say no, don't do it. Even if she don't say no, just don't. Go home to your girlfriend. Cause Metro Boomin getting a sex allegation against him is crazy.
I gotta read the story on that one. But
yeah, and apparently he impregnated her too.
Wasn't the whole beef with him and Drake over, or allegedly over a chick? Allegedly. And he had this going on too?
It's always over a chick. But that's a story for another day. We doing what we listening to?
Women be the downfall of all men. Boy.
Women is the creator of life.
And they the downfall of men.
But that's y'all.
No, that's not.
That's on y'all though.
That's definitely on us.
Yeah.
Man, be too tender penis, man.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be so many sexual allegations if it wasn't. Yeah. That's crazy.
You seen that video when an old girl was just doing exercise and the dog just started humping on her?
I saw that.
I
saw that.
Don't make that an excuse as to why y'all can't be faithful.
It ain't even about being faithful.
The instinct. Just having that instinct.
Men just be horny, bro. Motherfuckers be too horny sometimes.
Yo, hand work.
Like they be too horny sometimes. Just go sit down.
You sound like T Grizzly. Food be too seasoned.
Just go chill the fuck out. Like real time. All the people that got those sexual allegations, the ones that actually did that shit, it'd be like, bro, you could have just really chilled the fuck out.
You could have chilled out. You ain't have to drug her, man. If she you could have caught her on another day, she probably would have said yeah.
I don't even.
You got to be a real creep to take some coochie.
Take it is why you looking like you done took coochie before?
Who you looking at?
Why you should
Who you talking to? Yo, I'm listening to Mellow Bugs.
Don't put him on.
Shout out to Mellow Bugs.
The way because I think you was looking sideways and you didn't see how you looked at the camera. You was looking like, I did that shit.
I'm listening.
No, don't put that on.
I'm listening to Mellow Bugs. Shout out to Teacher's Pet. She dropped the video. She shouted me and Chris out in the video.
I was gonna say that y'all ain't want to
Shout out Mellow.
Instead of getting into what you listening to, y'all want to get into what we was watching with Beauty and Black.
Oh, let's talk about that. Tyler Perry, let me tell you something. I love Tyler Perry because one thing he gonna do is employ them people that was in them stage plays, and I love that for him. I love that. The tall black dude that used to have them dreads in the Madea plays, he always threw him in the movie in the role. So I love that for Tyler Perry. But I don't think Beauty and Black was good.
And why didn't you think it was good?
Because
What did you expect from it?
Because it's a series. I don't know. Because it's a series. It's too many. You know how something can be too suspenseful where you just don't know what's gonna happen next. Like sometimes you got an inkling. Like I feel like this was just giving me like I don't even want to watch this because I don't even want to know what's gonna happen next. I don't know if too suspenseful is a word, but to me it was giving like it's so much going on. I don't even care to know.
It was a lot going on.
You watched it too, Cody?
Yeah, I watched it. I finished all 8 episodes.
I finished all 8 on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna support.
I got something to watch tonight.
I'm gonna forever support.
No, don't spoil it.
Spoiler alert.
Wait, how big is the spoiler?
Are we spoiling anything? We could, but I'm gonna always support Tyler Perry. I feel like it's just embedded in me as a millennial child. To every time Tyler Perry he could drop a new iPad, I'm gonna go buy it because it's Tyler Perry. Like you have to support this man. But Beauty and Black, it wasn't for me, child.
You know what's crazy? I feel like it's a different. I feel like my generation got a different sentiment. I feel like we know Tyler Perry's movies are not that good, and we like don't watch it at all.
But y'all didn't come. At one point, Tyler Perry was all we had, and it wasn't even movies. It was bootleg stage plays that everybody couldn't even get into because they started selling out so fast. And this back when we still had like Ooh, I'm showing my age. They was on like VHS.
Yeah, the little skip.
Yeah, some of them was on VHS.
Why every week you come in here trying to remind us how old we
Because
are?
I don't
I
like
didn't bring it
it.
up. You brought it up. I didn't know he had the stage plays on VHS.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna
Some
check
of
that
them was
out.
on
DVD. It was
VHS.
on DVD. I had them on
It was on
DVD.
Yeah,
DVD
my
too.
granny had the DVDs.
Yeah, I had both.
I'm gonna check it out. I haven't.
I had
haven't
both.
checked that
Some
out
of them came on like a 2-foot.
It's a good watch to me.
I've been rewatching Power. Gianni Paulo, who plays Braden on the show, came out and said some things about how he wasn't feeling great, that they never been nominated for award show season, Golden Globes, Emmys, things like that. And then 50 did a interview with the Breakfast Club. Basically, him and Amari Hardwick beefing because every time Amari get on a interview, he's saying 50 ain't pay me, 50 ain't pay me, 50 ain't pay me. Instead of it being Stars didn't pay me, Stars and Courtney Kemp didn't pay me. So it's been a real interesting kind of going back and seeing. First of all, Ghost was a dope character. Like on my second or third rewatch, just realizing how calculated he was and how much the actor Amari put into it. But I'm going back and rewatching that. I think it's weird they having these money talks and they having these award talks. It kind of all coincides when they the highest grossing show Stars has ever had. They kept the lights on over at Stars, for real.
Money don't get you awards.
That's true.
Money don't get you awards.
It's really about who you know and who like you.
Empire won a ton of stuff, and it wasn't a lick of good acting on that show.
Because it was Lee Daniels.
Ain't
Lee Daniels did Precious.
It ain't about money. Money don't get you
You
awards.
know that. You just got to. It's somebody over there that don't like 50 Cent.
Probably.
That's all it is.
That's
But
fine.
hey, this was a good show today. This was a very
Pray
good
for Cody, y'all. Keep him in y'all prayers.
show.
I don't believe you.
Keep him in y'all
It was a good
prayers.
show
You could have
today.
sat out today. I thought that was the plan.
Yeah, but the other girl that's supposed to sit for you, she's sick too.
Okay, I could have did this. Me, Chris, and Ashley.
Yeah, we can see how that would have went.
It went great when he wasn't here before.
He didn't say nothing.
Oh, Larry was here. That's what balanced it out. We
Yeah,
had
Chris ain't
Larry.
say nothing. He said he got like 4 sound bites this whole 2 hours.
But he was listening. It was a very insightful conversation with Ashley, was it not?
It was a very insightful
That's why he ain't say
Stop
much.
taking up for this.
I'm not
motherfucker.
taking up. I'm speaking facts.
No, you not.
Dog, the next time we here, we gonna have a new president.
Hopefully. Y'all know how they like to play that all the votes aren't counted yet. Waiting
I gotta
72
go I
hours.
gotta go to my local fire department put my vote in.
Yeah, I'm voting early. I gotta go out of town.
You vote at the fire department?
That's where they told me to go
Bro,
vote.
I ain't been to a fire department since I was a
Well,
kid.
they finna toss your
I
vote
heard
like
they
a
got some good
motherfucker.
men at the fire department. They finna recruit you.
Hey,
Chris as a fireman would be funny
You
as
can be
hell.
a good fireman.
I'll try
You
to be-
care about people.
I do care about people.
You'll save like cats out
Single
of
it,
trees
please.
and
Single
stuff.
shot. Yeah.
You like a good fireman.
Nah, I just wanted
They make you cut your hair off though.
so we can go.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Yes, they do.
Bald, I can't. I
They
can't be
do
bald.
make you go bald, like you pledge.
Like, yeah, I can't do that.
No, we can't do it. Okay. Well, this was a great show.
Can't do what?
Yeah.
We talking about something else?
I was just saying do the establishment so we can get up out of here.
This was a great show. Thank you to
Ashley.
Ashley. Please go out and vote. Please pray for Cody and whatever he got, and pray that it does not spread to the rest of the team because I don't even know why he came in today.
And tune into her show.
Tune into Ashley's show. Mustin' Tonight is tomorrow on Can TV.
Tonight
is tomorrow.
But the name is called Mustin' Tonight.
Right.
That's the name of the show.
It used to
Mustin'
be
Tonight.
today with Munson.
Right?
But now it's tonight. But they're doing it tomorrow.
I like this color on me. Is this like a mauve?
Yo, good show. Crap. Yeah.
Thank you to everybody. See y'all next week when we have a new president-elect, hopefully. It's the right one.
I'm going to run this next year.
Peace.
Shit, I'm finna run for alderman.
You give me some money, you get about like 80,000.
Yeah, I could do alderman.